Hey, good night. We're on the air. This is Rusty from Stunthangar Control Line Forums, and I'm your host tonight with the Hangout, and we'll hang out until about midnight or 1, depending on how the conversations are going. And looks like we're getting off to a quick start tonight because we've already got one video viewer. I saw a couple of you guys hanging out over on YouTube, so everybody welcome, and we appreciate the many super chat donations we've been getting over there. So if y'all can click that $sign in the chat box on YouTube, it's greatly appreciated. It helps both me and Sparky keeping the server fees going and keeping the show free and keeping it on the air too. And with that, I'll welcome Bob Hunt. How you doing tonight, Bob?
Hey, Rusty, how are you?
Well, I'm okay. It's been kind of a rough week, but I'm sure glad it's Friday.
Yeah. About it.
How about you? You been doing anything?
Just making wings like a madman. I got orders coming up my ears. So.
Oh yeah. Do you get tired of it? Does it get repetitive, or is it different enough on every order?
Yeah, well, sometimes it does, but sometimes you get an interesting wing to build, and especially the built-up ones. The fully sheeted built-up wings and some of the Warren Truss built-up wings. They're fun to build.
What about something like a scale Stuka or a Mustang wing with a dihedral and all that kind of stuff? Do you?
Well, you can build them a dihedral, or even, technically in the lost foam system, you can even build polyhedral wings with undercamber and washout in one piece on the bench.
One piece, okay. So you don't have to slice them up and
build them in one piece.
That sounds interesting.
Scale, but the only thing I can't do is elliptical wings. You can't cut around curves,
Oh, no kidding, like a Spitfire?
Yeah, you can't do that because you can only cut straight taper wings.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
There is technically a way to do it, but it's not real accurate.
Yeah.
So I don't even bother trying it. And there's so much work to do on just regular stunt wings that,
Yeah. Jackson Avley just joined on YouTube. Thanks for your contribution, Jack. Appreciate that. Well, so have you got did you build your wing cutting system, or is this something you purchased, a purpose-built wing cutting system?
No, this was long before there were any ones that were commercially available. My dad and I put it together after having read Ed Izzo and Ray Olson's landmark article in 1964 Model Airplane News about it was called Styrofoam, a giant step forward. And basically they were using it on RC pattern wings and RC scale wings. And we read the article, and he said, we can do this. And so he built a power supply for me. That's a 2-stage or shielded transformer controlled by an industrial grade variac. And we made our own bows and started cutting back in late 67, early 68. Long before anybody else was really doing it, except Mike and Artie Stott out in Mankato, Minnesota. They actually were the first ones to do control line wings commercially. And then we got into it soon after that. So it was fun, Been doing it on and off commercially ever since, whether it be full-time or part-time, depending on what full-time job I had. The years I worked for Flying Models Magazine and Model Aviation, I did it as a part-time venture.
Yeah. Well, it must take a pretty good bit of current to heat that wire up. I wonder if you could do it with a model train transformer.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways of doing it. But again, a 2-stage transformer is the best way, so you don't get any shocks. And a good industrial grade variac to be able to adjust the heat of the wire for length of panels and also for density of panels, because a lot of the things we cut are 2-pound foam when we're doing the lost foam system. We do those out of 2-pound foam. There is Sparky.
Hey, Sparky.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. We're just getting kicked off here. I asked Bob about his foam cutting equipment, and because I was just curious, and so he was just telling us all about that. We got Jack and Gerald over on the YouTube side watching us. Gerald's working on airplanes for the Ringmaster Flyathon and watching. Jamie Holford says he'll be on in an hour and a half, so hopefully he'll tell us about winning trophies last weekend. So I don't remember which contest he went to. He's in New Orleans, so
probably the one up in Tulsa.
Maybe it was, yeah.
Blue Divers, I think it was.
Yeah, but I think he did pretty well with his twister in intermediate. The twister got off to a rough start in life, but now that he's got it glued and screwed back together, I believe it's treating him pretty well.
His twister got twisted.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I forgot what that was. It might have been a grass snag or something like that. I get our crashes mixed up amongst our crowd, so
I know what they feel like.
Yeah. But Jack says, listen to Bob Hunt. Very good info. Yeah, that's why we invited him on here, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
But anyway, what you up to, Sparky? Oh, he's not in. Oh, there he is. Let me click on you so we can see what you got.
Got it all painted, huh?
Go and tell.
Yeah, I got her painted.
Ah, look at that.
Tomorrow I'm gonna put the numbers on it and the first coat of clear so I can ink it.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Oh, looks great.
Yeah, I can tell it doesn't have the clear on it yet, but man, that canopy is gonna look really good with the clear over it too. I love that.
Let me back this up. You can't quite get it big enough.
How's the weight hanging in there for you?
Well, this finish is a little bit heavier than the other one. It's probably going to come in at a 7-ounce finish, so it's at 60 ounces right here.
All up?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Everything's on it, but
you'd be 61 and a half or so.
Yeah. It's hard to make them in the 50s with a PA 75 and a pipe and all that other nonsense on there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you how you get the color feathered in, like on the canopy, where it's obviously black underneath, and then you've put a blue in the middle of the black, but it's kind of fades in on the edges.
Real simple. You take the canopy off, you paint it blue, and then you take black with an airbrush and you paint down on the paper and let the overspray come up on the.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Because I tried to do that on.
Good idea.
I tried to do that on the my twister in a couple of places on the edges of the flaps and elevator, and I never could get a good fade in like that. It always had a sharp edge when I untaped it. So
that's a good tip.
Less is more. You don't want to put a whole lot on it. You just want to. When you shoot the airbrush, you don't shoot on the line. Shoot down here, around the canopy, and just let the overspray go on.
Okay, good.
Less is more. That's what McDonald used to tell me all the time.
Okay.
But I needed it wasn't going to be this paint scheme. But what happened was I wasn't real satisfied with how some of the things came out. So when I shot the white on it, I color sanded it, the screw ups, and decided that would be a whole lot lighter just to paint it white all the way instead of orange on the front and all that other. It was going to be pretty elaborate. So
they look cleaner in the air too. I mean, the airplanes that are really complicated schemes look really great on the ground if they're executed well. But when you get 140 feet away, judge's distance, all that stuff that looks intricate up close, it looks cool.
Mud.
It look just like mud on the airplane. Airplanes like what you have there will show up much better in the air.
That's a great classic looking color scheme. Yeah.
Well, this paint scheme is the same as my Viper was in 07, except the Viper was gray with blue and red on it. So
I remember that.
Speaking of intricate ones that look good close up, I think Derek's Matrix airplane was probably the most intricate paint job I've ever seen on a plane before. And of course, he's got Easter eggs hidden all in the script on it with his children's name and all that kind of stuff. But that one is one that probably would look like mud from a distance. No offense if you're watching, Derek. I love the plane.
Oh, the airplane is gorgeous close up. Bill Simons taught me that years and years ago. He said, use high definition colors that contrast well, and then put a lot of separation between them, a lot of white between them, and they'll show up like light bulbs in the air when they're downwind. And keep trim parallel to the center line of the airplane, so when you turn a corner, it accentuates the corner. Now, those schemes may not be very complicated, and they may not be very interesting to look at in the appearance point room, but I really do think that they help the airplane score better, and I think they make it look much cleaner in the air.
Yeah,
that's personal preference. When
we were flying our Brodak P-40 ARFs out at Fort Jackson, and half the field was a background of forest, they would disappear in the trees when you had your sunglasses on, and we had to paint invasion stripes on the side of them, and that would make them stand out. That was the only way we could see them.
Well, I made a mistake last week. I sold that Nobler, and the guy I sold it to took it out to fly it. And man, it flies just like I remember in the 60s, 70s. Boom! It's unreal. He finished it. He put the clear on it. It ended up 42 ounces, but man, what a mistake that was. It flies good.
Did you sell it to him with the power plant on it, or did he put his own on it?
No, that was an oddball power plant. I mean, it had to be that engine, so I sold it to him with the engine.
What engine was that?
32F OS. Helicopter motor. I used to use those in 1991. I had an airplane I sold to John Lowry called the Sorcerer, and it had a 32F on it that was canted sideways so that the header would go down the center line of the airplane, and it had a left-nearing pipe on it, and it was, it was a 40 size airplane, but that little motor, it swings an 11.5 propeller. That little motor puts out so much power because it's a helicopter engine. You take the head off, the square head off, and you put a round head on it. And Jim Lee made the Venturi. And man, that thing, it just smokes along. It's a little pipe motor is what it is. Big power. So you got the Nobler that I sold is a 1960s, actually 1950s piped airplane. Just
So you run it about the same RPM all the way around without a 4.2 brake.
Low gear, just a low gear.
Yeah. My Sorcerer had 11.45 propeller on it, and the Nobler, but it was an APC, so it was more efficient. The Nobler that I just got rid of had 11.5 rev up on it. I figured that'd be pretty comparable. The rev up doesn't have as much bite. And
the reason they call them rev ups because they're genuine, usually about an inch to more than an inch under advertised pitch. So that's why they're revved up, because they were very low pitch compared to what they were advertised to be.
They sure work good, especially on Super Tiger 60s. 13.6 rev up is what worked good on a Super Tiger.
I bet if you pitched those, they were closer to 13.5.
No, I don't doubt it.
I live in the land of cheap props, and master air screws are always said to be about an inch underpitched. But I never had any luck with stunt flying with master air screw. Bob loves them. Bob Zambelli loves them, but I think he likes them because they look good. But yeah, I had a shoestring that I was learning beginner with, and tried different props, and I didn't know anything about props at the time, but I did notice it fell on its face with a master air screw. Didn't have any horsepower in a climb.
Yeah.
Now the propeller on this airplane, I got one on the airplane and I got an extra one here, is an APC 3-blade carbon fiber. And this is a 4.5. They really work good. You saw Bob McDonald's airplane, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the propeller right there. You can see that he's taken an APC and cut one blade off and laid it out into this prop. It's brick. It worked good.
Is that an undercamber?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those Igor props, they work pretty well. Of course, they're electric props, but they're hollow and they're very light.
Somebody was in here the other night with a Turnigy prop, a 3-blade prop that was put together. You could see the seams, and it had it was a
pegged with dowels. I got one right here.
Yeah, that's right. It was pegged with dowels, and it was really thin, sharp blade, knife blade thin at the tips. Ouch! Excuse me.
Just stab yourself with a knife blade.
But it would shatter if he tried to start it with a chicken stick, so had to use an electric starter. I forget who that was now. Oh, let me click on that, Sparky. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's it. Is that really sharp at the tips?
Not really. Not the same as the APC.
Yeah, okay. I asked him if it was for internal combustion engines, and he said it was, but it still would shatter.
Well, it's a 2-blade prop. They've taken 2 props and made a 3-blade prop. And what they've done is if you look here in the center, there's a fiberglass triangle or fiberglass 3-blade wedge in there. And then they drilled it's sandwiched in between that, epoxied on, and then they drilled it, pegged it with dowel.
Yeah.
We used to make our own 3-blade wooden props that way back in the 70s. I used them at the World Championships in '78.
I got this one from, oh no, I can't even think. Steve Hines.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me a couple.
That's who it was that was talking about it the other night.
Shoujo Masuda from over in Japan, he sent me a couple of their the ones just like that they made. You know. We used to make them so the back plate of the spinner was the thing that had a little locking ring that went into. We put the 3 blades together, and then we milled a ring, a slot in the groove in the back of all 3, and then we milled we machined a back plate for the spinner that had a step in it that would snap into that slot. And then we screwed it, drilled and screwed it. And those things were bulletproof. The first time I ever tried to start one, though, I was so scared it was going to come apart. I had it on the test stand outside our shop. I hooked everything up, put the glow igniter on, and I put my finger on the prop, and I turned and faced the other way, flipped the prop, and ran. I was afraid it was going to come apart.
I think the reason why this one I'm working on now is 60 ounces instead of, I can't remember exactly what my other airplane weighs, 56 or 57, somewhere, whatever the hell it is. I think the reason being is the propeller is 2 ounces. You got the pipe, the header.
Yeah.
Bigger gas. All that stuff is fixed.
You got a lot of stuff, but when you put it on the fuel load, it's going to be even heavier.
Yeah, another ounce.
Well, the fuel load will give you another. How many ounces tank do you have?
I don't know. It's a Casminato carbon fiber $100 tank.
Probably 7 ounces. So that's nominally an ounce. So you got another 7 ounces at the beginning of the flight.
220 cc's, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Kaz says that's the right tank, so whatever.
So your launch weight is going to be approximately 6 to 7 ounces more than the dry weight.
That's why the airplane's a little heavier than the other one. But as long as I can keep it under 64 ounces and I can use the 14,000 lines, them I got them Russian.
Ruslin's lines, yeah.
Yeah.
Ukrainian lines.
As long as I can.
His name is Ruslin, and it looks like Russian when you read it quickly, but it's Ruslin, Ruslan.
I'll use those lines on it. I'm start out at 64 feet.
Have you flown on those yet?
No.
You'll be amazed how good they are.
I got 2 sets. I got the 16.5 and the 14.5. 4-strand.
Yeah, 14.5s, for an airplane under 64 or 64 or under are legal because the rule book says if they mic out at 14.5, they round it up to 15.
Right.
So they're just legal if you don't press too hard on the micrometer,
Oh yeah, well, you're not supposed to use it as a C clamp.
I know. Trust me, I know.
I'd like to welcome Tom Creasy and Night Nav. His name's Frank, and Bob Bishop and Ron Hassall have joined us since we started talking. And Frank says he's got some questions regarding electric timers for control line whenever we get a chance to talk about that. So, Frank, if you want to put any specific questions in, feel free to type them in. Bob says 220 cc's is 7.44 ounces.
Thank you.
And there's nominally an ounce, so that's over 7 ounces.
So it's 7.5 ounce tank. I hope that runs a PA 75 through the whole pattern.
Yeah, it should.
Because I used to run 8 ounce tank in my Thunderbolts when I had the 75 in it. Had the Venturis opened up pretty good. They were making max power.
Plus, you had a little more drag on that airplane too, I think.
And I had a 15.5 two blade on it.
Wow.
That thing had thrust out.
Was that a Sensenich or was that a Hamilton Standard?
It was a baseball bat. That prop was something else.
Hey, my buddy Winter Sportster just joined for the first time ever from Missouri. Works at used to work at the Cape Girardeau Airport. I think that's Kim out there. Winter Sportster. Is this Kim? So let us know. He doesn't have a good enough bandwidth to get on with us live, but he came all the way from Missouri to Huntersville just to meet us and see our field last May. It was May 2017, I believe. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. Anyway, that's my YouTube update for the moment.
What do you got there on that jar? Is that trail mix?
Here?
Sparky? No, is that trail mix?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's a big trail mix eater. She's always got assorted varieties to choose from.
Got too much,
but I can't eat nuts, so
it's got too much chocolate chips in it.
Chocolate either.
Chocolate? No, I don't want chocolate chips in my trail mix, but some variations I like. But yeah, well, I like eating nuts, but they get all in your teeth and then bother me until I can either go brush or floss or something. So
I'm going to try to do this finish on this airplane the same as I did the Monado. I don't know if it'll show up in the video, but this one's really finished nice. This is one of those what Billy calls, it'll probably be this nice forever because I made a mistake on it and the nose is too long. It just does not fly that great.
oh, so it'll be a hanger queen, huh?
Oh, I'm sure of that. It's light.
And polish it.
It's 61 ounces.
Convert it over to electric. They love long noses.
This thing, it's 11-inch nose. I don't know what I was thinking.
My new electric airplane has 11 and 7/8 nose.
Yeah, it just does not have the turn that it needs. It's light, but got a nice finish on it. You probably can't see it in the.
Yeah, it looks great.
We can see the gleam off of it. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
You got a pretty good connection tonight, Sparky.
Looks great.
I like it as far as looking, but it just. If you watch that movie, The Man in His Museum, he talks about. Well, of course, Bob, you made it.
Yeah.
He talks about, doesn't fly very good or whatever, and it'll live for a long time.
Hey, Steve. Steve Hines just joined us.
Hey guys, greetings
What's
from the
going on?
cold north.
And a little snow north of you, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. It was 32 where Samantha's going to college this
Wow.
morning.
How's college going so far?
I guess okay grade wise and stuff. She's homesick and
That's
all that
not
kind of
unusual
stuff.
for a freshman. I came home every weekend my freshman year.
She's staying up there. She's got to work again this weekend, so she works about every other weekend. She did come home last Saturday and then went back early in the morning, Sunday morning, but I think she'll probably stay there this weekend. She came on Wednesday for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours.
What all is she studying? I guess just basic educational, basic math and English and stuff, the boring stuff in her first quarter of her freshman year, right?
Yeah, she got biology.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's fun.
Algebra. I'm trying to think what else. She's got an honors class, speech, and
What is she going to major in?
but it's not really nursing. It's kind of bedside manner or whatever.
Yeah.
Of it,
What's she going to major in?
She's doing nursing now. She wanted to go into forensics, and either she had to go through law enforcement that way, which she decided, if she couldn't get a job, she'd have to be a police officer, which she doesn't want to do.
Right.
So she wants to go through the nursing part of it, try to go that way, and if she can't get a job in it, then she'd be a nurse.
That's what my son Brian did. He was a computer forensics for the police department, and he was working with the state police and with FBI, and he was working with Interpol, and Interpol hired him, and he went over to work in France, and he hated it, so he came home.
Hey Bob, have you watched the? I just happened to run into the full building of a custom Goodall guitar.
I haven't. I've seen it on YouTube, but I haven't looked through it.
Right. Them guys. I was watching another thing on woodworking that they got on YouTube. Them guys are craftsmen, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You remember Freddie Tellier?
That sounds familiar.
He was a stunt flyer in Canada. Matter of fact, he was on their world team many times. And he just kind of disappeared from the modeling scene. And it turns out he's making Tellier guitars, and they're fine acoustic guitars. I mean, really exceptionally fine acoustic guitars. If you ever get on YouTube and look up Tellier, Tellier, Tellier guitars.
Are you making your own fretboards and everything?
Yeah, he makes everything,
Are you?
Oh, my. No, I purchased it. One thing I do purchase is a fretboard because of the curvature of it and the intonation of the guitar. Get the frets exactly where they want to be. So I purchased that.
Well, this guy that's Goodall guitar thing that I showed shows you how to make a jig so you can cut the fretboard. And he also makes the, I don't know, some kind of bone or something that holds the
string. Bone nut and saddle. That's a bone saddle piece.
Yeah.
Bridge.
Holds the strings off the guitar. They're really cool.
This here is a bone. That's a bone saddle piece right there.
Yeah.
That piece right there, that white piece. And the nut also, this piece here, that's also bone.
Right. I just thought you might be interested in it because I know you're building guitars. He takes it. I can't remember how long he said it takes to build, but it's a relatively short time to build, but it takes 3 months to finish.
Well, it depends on what kind of finish you put on. If you put on a nitrocellulose finish, yeah, it takes time because you got to spray it, let it dry, just like a stunt ship, like doing dope on a stunt ship. But Taylor is using a UV cured polyester clear, and they put on ultra thin finishes, and they do them overnight. Where Martin, about 1.5 miles from me here, they take like 8 weeks to put on a finish.
So Does the thickness of the finish change the sound of the guitar?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The best ones are like French oil, which no lacquer or anything glossy on it at all. They just put a French oil on to protect the wood, and those are the best sounding guitars. But they don't look real flashy, but they're real good sounding.
I can play the radio, and I can play it really loud.
Yeah. Somebody's got to listen too,
Yeah.
I got to see all that stuff. I worked there at Guardsman when we made paint and stains and all that kind of stuff. Well, Grand Rapids is known as Furniture City.
Well,
and so the stuff that these woodworkers can do, and we were only 60 miles from the Gibson plant. And the reason why it was there was because of all the woodworkers around here and the stuff they could do. But yeah, some of the old stuff I got to see. Is it Charles Dickens that wrote like The Prince and the Pauper and all them kind of Dickens? Seen his desk, and they brought it from the Smithsonian over to our shop so they could match the stain, and they made reproductions of it and sold them. But what it was is it wasn't the original color stain that the desk was. They made a stain to look like the desk looks now, and all the lacquers and stuff that they put on it had all yellowed, and the stain had went dark and everything else. But it was
all you gotta do is round off dope. It's yellow to start with.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the UV stuff in it.
The best craftsmen, the best woodworkers are the Amish. A lot of Amish around here. Man, they really can make beautiful woodwork.
We got a lot of them around here too. Lots of them. We used to go down to Lancaster, Pennsylvania on the motorcycles, and you got to be careful when you come to a stop, because you could put your foot down into a horse pie, because they're all horse-drawn carriages down there, the Amish. A friend of mine almost dropped his K12 Beamer, put his foot down, his foot slipped out, and
Oh God, what a way to
right into a horse pie.
They really are good woodworkers. So they don't use any power tools either.
All our bedroom furniture is all built by the Amish. It's all oak, real wood. I mean, no flake board anywhere. It's all wood, beautiful. Not expensive as anything, but
I don't think they use any nails either.
Yeah, I don't see any nail holes.
They use dowels and glue.
Beautiful work. I mean,
I wonder if they make their own glue.
Gorgeous work.
Possible.
Yeah, the Amish now though, they got tools and stuff. My neighbor, he had his barn built by the Amish.
Yeah.
And they came with horse and buggy, and it must have been a taxi service because they dropped him off and left with them. So the horse and buggy left. You see him drop them off. But how they had air compressors and air guns. They can use air. They can't use electric. So it was gasoline, a gasoline-powered compressor. And I don't know what they used. If they had an air power saw or how in the hell they cut wood and stuff. But they put it up real fast. But
do you know what goes clippity-clop, 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 bang, clippity-clop, clippity-clop?
No, what's that?
It's an Amish drive-by shooting.
They use double jack saws to cut logs and stuff. A guy on each side of the saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I figured that Amish could have air guns.
Yeah.
I would guess. If they want, somehow they got to kill their cattle and everything else.
This guitar movie I'm talking about, this guy takes a piece of metal and he is shaving the wood with a piece of metal. That blade, it has to be like
a spoke shave.
That thing has to be like a razor blade because it was peeling off there like unbelievable.
I tell you, when you get into building guitars, I'm sure a lot of things, furniture and everything, you start going through the tutorials, and a whole lot of it is about how to sharpen the tools. The tools have to be sharpened in a specific way to do the job correctly, and it's amazing, you know.
Well, that knife, that piece of metal that he was holding, looks sharper than an X-Acto. I don't think an X-Acto would have done that.
Yeah, it's a spoke shave or a draw plane or a draw knife, you know. Mm.
Impressive.
Yeah, some of those guys are amazing. They really are. I mean, if you ever get here, you know, you only came in once. You didn't stay very long. But if you ever get in for a couple of days, take you over to Martin Guitar. They have a free tour. Matter of fact, Eric Teller came and visited. He went over there. And this weekend, Jay Smith is coming in. Jay is the editor of Model Aviation magazine. And his sideline hobby is he collects and refurbishes and sells pinball machines, you know, arcade machines and things. He found one up in Pearl River, New York. So he's going to be coming through here. He's going to stay overnight Sunday night. And then Monday morning, we're going to go over to Martin Guitar because he's a guitar player too. So we're going to go to Martin Guitar and take the tour. It's about an 1.5 hour long tour. It's a wonderful tour. And they have a world-class museum with all those tools you just talked about. They're all in the museum, you know. Because everything now is being done, not everything, but a good portion of it is being done by CNC machines and laser cutters. But then they have a lot of hand assembly and hand fitting, you know. So it's impressive. I'm not a big Martin fan, but it is impressive to see him.
I think when we mentioned glue a minute ago, is what prompted Bob Bishop to say, isn't nitrocellulose the same as old-time nitrate dope, or is it the stuff they used to make photographic film out of? He's not sure.
Film and melt it, and that's what you get. Dope.
Yeah. And that's what they're using at Martin Guitar, nitrocellulose.
Nitrocellulose is gun cotton. It's the same thing you make gunpowder out of. And there's ball powder and flake powder. When we used to get in all of our nitrocellulose, it either come in ball or flake. And they tend to make more gunpowder out of ball, or, you know, Winchester ball powder is actually spherical powder because it fills the bullets easier. That's why they do it round. It fills, and they put carbon on it, turns gunpowder black. But gunpowder is nitrocellulose, and that's what lacquer, you know, lacquer is, and that's a type of a nitrocellulose. And you have nitromethane. It's just nitrated methane or nitrated cellulose.
So we have to get a gun permit in order to paint our airplanes now?
Yeah, I guess. But, you know, nitrocellulose is so dangerous that we had a special room for it, and you could not slide a drum. You could put enough heat in to set off nitrocellulose by pushing a drum on the floor. You couldn't walk on them. And we had the old nitro plant completely blow up.
Wow.
We had a guy retired, and the guy that was out in the nitrocellulose plant came over for the cake and stuff like that. And when he was gone, the plant blew up. Otherwise, he'd have been dead.
Oh my God.
There was nothing left but the foundation.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, nitrocellulose is just a real crazy thing to handle. And it's soaked in alcohol. So we wetted it in alcohol, and then so that was the whole thing about when you weighed it out, when we had to dip it out. It was so many pounds of this kind, so many pounds of that kind. And it adjusted the drying time, just like when they mix it, how fast the gunpowder is. It's fast powder, slow powder. It's the mixture of nitrocellulose, but I'm not real sure, you know, what plant fiber they use to make it. If it's actually cotton, because they call it gun cotton, but it's made from plant fiber of some type.
Well, cellulose would tend to suggest it's like a plastic.
Wasn't cellulose is in plant fiber.
Jack Snavely says cellulose is wood extract that's used in grated cheese and other foods.
What?
That's what Jack says. It's wood extract that's in grated cheese and other foods. Cellulose.
Yeah, I know it's plant fiber of some type, and maybe wood.
That's what Jack said.
Oh, okay.
I can ask Wayne. I mean, he'd know what gun cotton is.
What an education we get here on these hangouts, Rob.
We go all over the place. Yeah, sooner or later we'll come back around to airplanes. But
that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we made our different, I mean, we had probably 30 different kinds of lacquer top coat, and some stood up better to mar resistance. Some was harder for scratch. Some were shinier, you know, and it depended on what they wanted on the mixture. And then, you know, after we made it, then we'd actually spray it on metal, and then it went in to be tested for scratch resistance and mar, and we'd put them on the roof under a little clip, and they'd sit out there to see for weathering. I mean, the one roof of the building had nothing but these metal plates with paint, like for refrigerators. We made refrigerator paint and all that kind of stuff. They were up there too, but all that stuff was stuck outside in the rain and snow. So yeah, it was. But yeah, I could have, you know, back in the day, I wish I would have had some of these different dopes taken apart and find out what was in them. But it only takes a few hours. I mean, these chemists put them in these
spectral things.
Yeah, mass something or others.
Yeah.
Spectral analyzers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like somebody would come up with a new paint. They go buy it, put it in there, and they knew exactly what they used to make it. The big secret was in how they made the resin. If it was regular paint, that was the secret of how long they cooked it and what they did to it and stuff like that. And that was the chemical secrets. Kind of like that UV stuff you were talking about, that new UV finish.
Mm.
You know, they were working on that stuff when I was there. The biggest thing we couldn't get was John Deere green. Years and years of working on that, we never could get the color right for him.
Well,
we tried all kinds of stuff once it dried. And
what's the primary pigment ingredient for green?
It's green. It's some kind of a green pigment. It's super expensive.
Yeah, but the most expensive is red.
Yes, some of the reds, some of the blues actually too. The stuff they make it out of, I know that like the Jewish people, for the way they do that tassel and they dye it, that comes from a snail shell. And it's crushed and somehow got out. But yeah, some of these real bright colors are
the reds are very expensive. I went down to get red for making my trim colors and my quest fires, and I looked through the books. And that's the nice thing about using carbonates. You got 14 bazillion colors, to choose from. And I picked out a red, and he said to me, that's the most expensive color we have. It was Viper Red. It was high performance or Viper Red for Chrysler. And he said, that's the most expensive red we have. It was like $105 a pint.
Damn.
Yeah. But the beauty of it is when you buy a pint of that stuff, you use the base maker and you mix it 50-50. So you get a quart. And it goes so far that, you can spray 20 airplanes and you won't use, a quarter of an inch at the top of the can, So just covers so well.
Yeah, we'd have when they bring in pigments for us to grind into tinning paste, that some of the reds and greens and blues were so expensive that they'd bring them in a half a pound bag, and I forget how hundreds of dollars.
Yep.
That little bag cost. They put it into a little bitty sand mill and grind it.
That flip-flop paint, they say that's very expensive too.
You know, I heard you guys were talking about my 6-ounce finishes. You don't think I get them 6 ounces? Well, we were going to show you, but when we were painting this, the reason I'm getting 6-ounce finishes is Randolph dope. There's a big difference between Brodak dope and Randolph dope. You'll have to spray 5 or 6 coats of red. You're talking about red on an airplane to get it red. You don't have to spray 1 coat of Randolph.
Yeah, and a whisper coat of the car paint. The stuff covers almost like with nothing. You know.
Right. So, you know, this finish here, you know, I'll be at 7 ounces because of the screw up I had on the finish, but
yeah, that's a good weight.
you know, it's just the way it is. But Randolph dope, there's a big difference between Randolph and Sig, because I'm sure John is watching. I know that he's watching, but he didn't come on here. And I was going to have him say, yep, 6-ounce finish, no doubt about it. It's all in the paint.
Yeah, I'll see how much I can. We'll get Samantha's airplane in that. I'm hoping about 4 ounces. That's what I'm shooting for.
For what?
For the finishing on Samantha's airplane.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to have monocoated wings.
Oh, well, okay.
I talked to those guys from Top Flight at the Nats, and they said that monocoat is not any lighter than a good dope finish.
I ain't buying it, not for a second, because I can weigh a piece of monocoat and know how much it's going to add to the airplane.
Right.
And 1 sheet is like, for 1/2 of a wing, is like a 1/4 ounce. So if you had 2, that's a 1/2 ounce. Do the whole wing, that's 1 ounce. I don't believe that you can do a dope finish lighter than 1 ounce. There's just...
No, you can't.
You can't. I mean, this exact wing here, which is the score, I had one just like it. I weighed the wing, removed all the covering off the flats and the wing, reweighed the wing. 1.1 ounces is because I'm like, well, the wing was damaged. I can fix it now. Just paint it because I can't monocoat with the shit. Now there was no way I could. I ended up giving the airplane away because the damn thing weighed so much. The wing did. I think the wing uncovered weighed 12 ounces, and it's like, or 14 ounces. It was crazy. But there's just no way that you can do a painted surface lighter than 1.1 ounces on 720 square inches.
You're not going to get appearance points at the Nats either.
Right.
Well, when I told that guy at Top Flight at the Nats this year, he said, how much is your finish weigh? I said, 6 ounces. He said, you're not going to finish. I can't finish that airplane with monocoat for 6 ounces. So I'm just telling you what the top guy at Top Flight said.
Now, are you using actual monocoat, Steve, or are you using ultra coat?
I'm using China coat.
Okay, so there's differences in the weights of those.
Yeah.
You know, the ultra coat weighs more than monocoat. Monocoat is like really flimsy, and that ultra coat is a lot more it's more substance to it.
Yeah, but even, if it's 25% heavier, they would weigh what, 1.3 ounces?
No, I'm not arguing any of that. I'm just saying, there is a difference.
Yeah, I know there's actually the lightest one is Red Baron film.
Is it?
Yeah,
but again, you don't get any appearance points. You'll get appearance points, but you won't get as many for monocoat as you will if you paint the airplane.
Right. Red Baron is 0.7 ounces a square yard. That's a lot of plastic for less than an ounce.
Yeah.
Keep us surprised at what the finish weighs on your monocoat airplane. I'd be interested to see.
every piece I'm going to weigh in this airplane right now. What did I say? With motor, landing gear, everything but the prop, spinner, and wheels weighs less than 47 ounces, 46 point something it was.
No drivetrain.
Full drivetrain, battery in it, everything.
Huh?
So I'm gonna see what it weighs out. I'll choose a spinner and stuff like that. By getting rid of this weighs 0.9 ounces.
Hey, that's crazy heavy.
Because I've weighed every single thing, and I know what Samantha's Nat's airplane added almost a pound to the weight of that airplane, because I've weighed everything.
Did you find a good replacement for that arming plug?
Pardon me?
Did you find a good replacement for that connector you just held up?
Not yet, but I'll use a wire. Because
just a jumper
wire. I'm not looking for
they weigh nothing.
Pretty points or anything.
You gotta be careful with the jumper. You can get a spark, so you gotta be careful, especially if you're using a 5-cell or a 6-cell battery. You can get a pretty good arc. With a 4-cell, you can get away with it.
Yeah, I can put that little deal that Igor puts in to get rid of the spark, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna see what how this airplane really flies. If I can keep the weight down to 4 or 5 ounces on finish, I should be able to get this whole plane in at 52, 53 battery up.
Mm-hmm. That's what my Genesis Extreme weighed with the electric system. It weighed 54 all up.
Yeah.
So that it can be done. And that Usama I had, that weighed 52 all up.
How many square inches?
620.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same with this one of Samantha's is 620.
And the Genesis Extreme was more like about 635, 635.
But I think that it can even be made lighter, because I should have cut the fuselage down. The damn fuselage don't have to be that frickin' wide.
Mm.
It just has to be strong enough to hold the wing and tail and make it fly.
Mm-hmm.
From what I seen, that the kid who won the world championships there from China, the tail on his airplane is maybe 2.5 to 3 inches.
Yeah,
thick.
but he's got a big vertical fin.
Yeah, he's got a big vertical fin, but he doesn't. No, it's not even a big vertical fin, because it's a GB. So he's got a sub rudder and rudder around it.
You got to keep him rigid, though. You got to have enough to keep him rigid. Rigidity is just as important as anything else.
All up weight means ready to crank and fly, right? In other words, fueled up or battery loaded.
Yeah, the only thing that I didn't wait, well, I'll still have like finishing out the lead outs. So I have the little, the wire on there and everything else when I wrap them and everything else. And I don't know what that weighs, but that'll be added to it. But
you got to be plenty light.
What, and the thing is that if lightness matters, then I want a light airplane. I don't give a shit about built or.
Well, some people say that you could build an airplane too light, and here's what I believe. This is one of my axioms. It's possible to build a control line stunt model too light, but no one's ever done it. Now I know that Brett Buck and Ted Fancher will argue with me, but the best flying airplanes I've ever had were the lightest airplanes. I had like a 34-ounce Tucker Special. I had a 36-ounce Genesis 35. Those things outflew anything in any conditions.
Right.
And it's like they say, people say that, you need the weight to penetrate the air.
Nope.
No.
I hear that. I'm like,
there's a caveat to all this. You just can't say lightweight. You got to say also how you power it. You can't do something with a dead 2.4 brake thing and it's feather light in a wind. It's going to get blown around. Right. But if you power it with a low gear setup, a high RPM, so it's punching through and constantly has torque on, then you can get away with real light airplanes.
Well, that's what I figure with Igor's system. it'll power up if you know, when it needs to.
Well, yeah, with the electric system, just make it, you know, a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah, so that's what I'm figuring, and it's just a deal to where I'm going to see, you know, and I wish I had really had super light wood, which I didn't. This is all 4 to 6 pound. It ain't. And I weighed up all the wood, and it fell in that, and the lightest piece I had weighed 5.8.
5.8 for what? For what size wood? Piece of wood?
per pound, well, per pound or whatever.
5.8 ounces.
Right. It was under the 6 pound, but that was the lightest one at 5.8. Everything else was 8.5, 8.6.
Oh yeah, that's heavy.
Terry Forbes chimes
in. James, tell us about your experience at the contest, man. James?
He's not there.
Yeah, he hadn't stepped in front of the camera yet.
Well, he's had his opportunity here to tell us about the contest.
Okay. While we got a second YouTube update, Terry Forbes chimes in. Terry hadn't visited us in a long time, he's in agreement with those that say Monacoat's always lighter than a dope finish. Never finished one that Wade, let's see, says, I've never finished in 45 years, had an iron-on finish weighs 6 ounces. So here's another ding in the.
You know, the RC pattern guys, they use Monacoat because they just can't put paint on light enough to make those airplanes hit the weight they have to hit. They use Monacoat all the time. Yeah. And that's what, you know, and they swear by it for reducing the weight.
You know, the thing is that I'm going to weigh it and take a picture every time. And we'll find out what each wing, how much that weighed to cover it. And then I'll weigh it between coats of dope to get it shiny, and, you know, because the fuselage will be painted. And, you know, I'm hoping that I can keep the fuselage at the same amount of weight as what I can the wing and stab. Mm. And we'll see if it can, you know. The scale ain't going to lie, so.
James is back now. We want to hear about this experience he had at the contest.
Yeah, why weren't you on Monday?
I was in Houston.
Oh. Figured you'd be on there letting us know how you won that intermediate.
No, I had a 9.5 hour drive back. I was home for like 30 minutes, enough time to take a shower, pack my bag, then head west for work.
Oh, man.
So tell us about the contest.
It was fun. It was interesting.
So you flew well there, and you finally got a good run out of that motor when you finally got it all set and stuff?
Oh, yeah. It was good. I didn't have to touch a needle for the rest of the weekend after we figured it out Friday. But it was all right. It ran good. Of course, the weather, the wind-wise, would have been a little better for my little intermediate self. Unlike the experts with them scores that they posted.
Get used to the wind.
How many people did they have in intermediate?
2. It was 3. It was a buddy in my club, but he ended up leaving Sunday morning. He wasn't feeling good and whatnot, so they left before it started Sunday.
Everybody that was there.
What's with the 400-point scores in old time?
I don't know. I wasn't the judge. I didn't even really watch. I didn't watch old time. I filmed it, but I didn't watch it. I just set up the camera and walked away.
Was that a high score in old time 400?
Over 400.
Didn't know it was possible to get a 400.
I didn't either.
I don't know. I don't even know who was judging old time, to be honest.
I'm not even familiar with the all-time scoring method.
Like a 322 is a real high score.
Like, I don't even know how I scored 501 in profile. Yeah, that's what blows my mind. Yeah, I certainly didn't put up a 500.
Well, how much did you pay the judge?
Yeah. Felt like I paid him a lot to get that.
Well, one thing about it is it's like it really doesn't matter what numbers on that score, yeah, as long as all the numbers are fair to.
All relative.
Yeah.
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 But it wasn't
For
bad. I mean,
everybody the same. That's what counts.
they had like, I think a 438.5 in classic, because there was supposed to split in 30 in classic, you know, just all fly together, just split in 30 in classic. But there wasn't enough in 30 entries, and I think I was the only one. So they just threw me in with classic. So they let me fly my twister in classic. And I didn't finish last, close to the middle, you know. So I mean, that was kind of cool. And those judges was Joe Gilbert and somebody else. And I finished best score was a 438.5 that I had. And then in profile, I think my first flight was 499.5 or
Damn.
499.
That's
And
pretty
then
good score.
second flight was 501. And didn't finish last, but close to the middle. So that was pretty motivating for that. And then for intermediate the next day, yeah, it was just weird the way how the wind was acting on that circle. Like I'd feel it coming, like blowing towards my 2 o'clock. When I do my maneuver, my 2 o'clock, then the wind was at the 11 o'clock. It was weird, like it was turning. You know, it was just weird the way how it was doing. And that and my bottoms killed me like tremendously because I was taking it all the bottoms for granted, flying it like I do my primary force, where if I heavy handed, it'll stall in the corners, like with the triangle and the hourglass. With the primary force, if I yank on it, it's gonna stall out. So I was doing my twister the same way, just so I wouldn't stall it. And when I make the corner, I'm coming out too low, and I have to jerk it up before smashing the ground, where I should have been hammering, snapping them corners, and I would have probably been fine, and my score would have been higher. I mean, I still won it, but my score should have been better. So I know what I was doing wrong, and I know, you know, for the next contest in 2 weeks, what I need to do.
I see that Don Cranfield, one expert, he's really coming up the ladder fast. Did you watch him fly?
Oh yeah, a lot. Every contest I've been at the last year and a half, he's been there, because he lives like not 3.5 hours.
Coming up fast.
He's flying good.
I guess so.
How old is he?
I got to get up and go over to John's tomorrow to paint. So
What do you got left to do? Just your clear?
numbers in clear. I got the stencils right here.
Oh, okay.
And ink lines.
Yeah, ink line. Maybe by next week it'll be done.
It's looking good, Sparky.
Yeah.
You gonna be able to get any flights on it, you think, this year? The weather will hold out for you?
Well, I'm going to bring it to Huntersville. I'm hoping to get a flight on it or two by then.
These guys didn't even see it when you had it before show to them.
Kind of hard to.
Yeah, that's good right there. That's real good right there.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
I like the color choice.
Yeah, that's nice. It'll show up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you just gotta put your numbers on the wing, and
Yeah, numbers and ink lines. I got a decal for the rudder. I'll put that on tomorrow. I'll show you that. It's kind of cool. This airplane's called High Roller.
Oh, that's a good name.
And this is the decal that I got. 2 decals, one for each side of the rudder.
you print them yourself or have somebody print them for you?
No, they cost $6 a piece on eBay.
Oh, that's good stuff there.
That's pretty sharp.
Cool.
As Dean Papa says, there's only one hobby.
Spending money.
It's
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I'll put them on the rudder. That'll busy up the rudder a little bit. And I got, these are weeded. These are the numbers. And then I got the...
What does it say before the numbers? Does that still say N?
Yeah.
That's no longer our designation, you know.
It isn't?
No, USA is our designation now.
I thought N was national.
No, that used to be
North
N
America.
numbers, but that's no longer the case.
Well, all my airplanes got N on them.
Well, they're nostalgia, you know.
Yeah. Every one of them I got here is N. N with my
Change
number.
international designations to the country name, so we're USA.
So what's like
North
France?
America, right?
They got to put France on it, or they just like an F or
FR,
FR?
something like that.
Okay.
Great Britain is GB, I think. I think Australia is AUS, if I'm not mistaken. But we're USA.
Oh, okay, so it's basically like the Olympics
Yeah.
when they put the flag up and then so many letters or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
But
could
that's not just for modeling. That's also for full scale. You know.
I could cut the N off, but all my
Oh,
airplanes.
no, I'm just busting your chops. You know, you put the N on. What I put N on mine. But I put USA someplace on the airplane.
Well, it is. It's on the fuselage.
Yeah, that's fine. You have to have that to fly an FAI. You have to have USA at least 1 inch high numbers.
And those are 2-inch high on the fuselage. I thought you saw that.
So the next time you make the world team, you're covered.
Yeah.
You're just gonna need a big box to take it over there.
This will never go anywhere.
Or a saw and some glue.
There's a USA on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Whole thing looks good, Sparky.
This was built, I was going to call it Motel 6. But their logo is kind of crappy looking. So I didn't do it. But
I don't know the name, you know. My new one's called Easy Wind, after the Grateful Dead song Easy Wind.
yeah.
They'll leave a light on for you, huh?
Well, it was built in a motel room.
Ah,
You know, if you think about it, I've been working here in this motel room. So I was going to call it Motel 6, just to show people what you can do in a motel room.
there you go. Jimmy Casale used to build all his airplanes in motel rooms. And he actually knew all the rooms at a specific motel, because he was, you know, a musician, so he would be out playing and have to stay at a motel. So he would go into the rooms and take a straight edge and put it on the tables and find out the flattest table, and he'd know what rooms to go to, and he'd always request the room with the flattest table. Yeah. Funny guy.
The only thing I can't do here is paint, so that's why I got to go to John's.
Is he that far away from you?
It takes me about 20 minutes to get over his house.
Ain't too bad.
John who? John Paris?
No, John Jordan.
Okay.
Him and I are going to do a project this winter that the airplane, there won't be a straight surface on it. It'll all be round. It'll be molded. The whole thing going to be curved.
Cool.
That's gonna be cool.
The fuselage will be made all out of 16. It'll be built just like a real airplane with 16th-inch bulkheads. Probably going to make our own plywood, 16th-inch balsa plywood bulkheads, couple of stringers to hold the skin on, and all that, the fuselage sides to be molded out of 16.
Yeah, it'll work fine.
There won't be anything, no 1/8-inch fuselage side, none of that business. It'll be
I'm
molded.
using 16-inch fuselage in my airplanes. I've been using them for a while.
But no straight sides, right?
Yeah, they are straight side, but you know, even with the molded shells are 16 too, and then they have the formers in them that connect to the formers in the fuselage crutch, and they form a monocoque sections, and they're rigid. They're very rigid.
Well, what I had thought,
For both sides, you're really going to get rigidity.
2 halves. We're going to kind of do it like Al Rabe does, where he puts the bulkheads up on a jig, and then slides the sides on. Where we're going to put the wing in a jig, and the fuselage on a jig, and then slide the sides on the wing over the wing, and we have one glue joint. That means no sanding on the fuselage because it's only 16.
Right.
So it all has to be sanded when it's flat.
I've been using 16th-inch shells for a long time, and they work great.
So, and I'm going to do I've tried it a million times, but I'm going to force myself to use Japanese tissue on this airplane, on everything. I talked to Jerry Phelps again, and he gave me the rundown on how he does it. So, you know, there's nothing lighter than Japanese tissue. So,
No, fills instantly.
right. Now,
Yeah.
John had this stuff. I don't know what it is, but I think Steve Moon had it on his ARF Noblers that he was doing. That it's iron-on covering. It's slick on one side, but it's super light. Or no.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of your name.
Free flight and combat guys use it or whatever. It's really tough. Got fibers in it.
Yeah, Campbell Kits. He sells the stuff. What's the name of that? Flight Span or something like that, or.
Do you know a guy who sells that stuff?
Yeah, Campbell. What's his first name?
SLC.
No, it's not SLC. That's plastic. That's Cartier sells that.
Yeah, that's what Top Brent just posted on the chat
I
box.
can't think of the guy's first name, but he's a free flight guy and he sells that stuff. I've had some of it. It works good.
If you know his name or whatever, send it to me on the forum, would you?
Yeah, I'll look it up. He used to be one of our advertisers at Model Aviation and a Flying Model.
Because that stuff is tough. It's as tough as polyspan, but it doesn't weigh anything.
Len Campbell or Len, not Glenn, but Len. Something
And
like that.
John,
Or they just iron on and then they paint over it.
yeah, it's slick. It should only take 1 or 2 coats of paint, to fill it.
There was a thing the free flight guys were using a while back called mica film.
That might be it too. I don't know.
Yeah,
Some of the suggestions on YouTube are Icarex and Ripstop. I don't know what Ripstop's what you make
Ripstop is nylon.
Yeah.
This stuff is slick on one side. It's clear. It's not clear. It's milky white.
Could be mica film.
You could see the fibers in it, and you put it on with dope and heat it with a heat gun to shrink it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like I don't know how to explain it. Kind of looks like Japanese tissue on one side. So
that's mica film.
I don't see any any dope. It wouldn't take any dope to fill the grain.
Are they still making microfilm? That stuff? Microfilm?
Micafilm.
That used to be a Red Baron product. It was microfilm.
What's Tyvek? That's
We get on the internet and check it out.
That's what Bob Bishop.
Check out Red Baron and see if they have microfilm. And that's what a lot of these guys are using on their free flights and stuff like that. But I don't know if they make it anymore because I forget that stuff only weighed like 0.2 ounces a square yard.
And it's ridiculously light.
Yeah, it was really super light.
It was very strong.
Yeah, it come out of England. That's where Red Baron is out of England, and they had microfilm and solar tax and.
Anybody ever use ply span? The SIG ply span?
I used it. No, thank you. I won't use it again.
Yeah, it's very difficult to apply.
I think that's what I used on my shoestring fuselage because I tried to silk span it, but you couldn't make the silk span do what it needed to do on those super compound corners.
No, ply span is very light, and I'm going to try it with that reverse composite construction I'm doing. I've been using 00 silk span, but I'm going to try that ply span because I got a bunch of it.
Barky, you used something called polyspan on the Continental, didn't you?
Yeah, Continental polyspan. That takes too much dope to fill.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I mean,
strong.
Oh, it's real strong.
Bob McDonald had a Strathmore out at VSC one year, and he was doing a wing over, and the thing cut out at the top of the circle and went straight in. And it was an I-beam wing, and the thing just shattered. But he had a little bag to bring all the pieces home in. It was a polyspan wing, and he just picked it up, and you could hear all the pieces fall to the bottom of the bag, and he just carried it off the field.
Gerald Wimmer says Solar Film made a product called Fibra Film, and they also made that was one that was applied with contact adhesive that was light and strong.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's part of that Red Baron company or whatever. That's right. I forgot about that.
Somebody look up Campbell Custom Kits. I think that was the name of the company, and they had a product line that had a bunch of covering materials, and one of them was a very light material, different than anything I've ever seen.
Well, I got this whole damn box of VHS tapes, Sparky. I'll start going through it and find the one on Japanese tissue. And this guy's a free flighter, and he shows 3 ways of putting it on.
Yeah, that was our DVD that I did, the video I did with Larry Cruz.
I got that tape.
Does he put it on with a
atomizer?
You know, he uses a like a glue stick.
Yeah, he used glue stick. That was one way, and another way is
Yeah, that tape. I mean, you see, how he did an under camber wing with that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if a guy can do an under camber wing,
we shot that in his kitchen.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I got that tape. If you got that one, you got it right there.
We got a special treat coming up. I don't know what's on this disc, but it just came in the mail from D Hill. This is, stuff from the 60s and 70s. Of course, let's see what it says here. John Mist, wait a minute. Larry Scarenzi's basement.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one on Mist, whoever that is.
I did a DVD in Scarenzi's basement.
John Mist Hobby Shop and Larry Scarenzi's basement, and a contest of October 11th, 92. So here's a CD. I'll be up on YouTube as soon as I can get it.
Yeah, he told me over the weekend he has tons of videos of all kind of stuff.
Who?
D-Hill.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, watching that one you did, Bob, then with that guy doing that with them 3 different ways. I mean, he made it look easy.
Larry Cruz. Well, Larry Cruz is a multi-time grand national champion in free flight. The
most impressive thing that guy did is finish that airplane with colored jet tissue and make the 2 pieces made up. You couldn't even see the seam.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah. Mike Spedalier is really good at that too. We did a DVD with him doing a stunt ship that way. You gotta have a feel for just how damp the stuff's got to be so it doesn't shrink too much. But they're amazing, both of them. Incredible.
Speaking of video, hey Bob, I got this in a raffle. Is this redeemable for a DVD?
Redeemable for a DVD.
Come back up. I couldn't. What was it?
Are you serious?
The Man in His Museum. That's that's one of like I think the 3 things I got in the raffle.
Go watch that at least 10 times.
Yeah, like I find a VCR in this state that works.
Hey, you want to come up here? I'll give you one. My mom's got 1 left. I've been giving them away.
Well, I gotta go. See you guys.
Be good, Sparky.
All right, see you later, Sparky.
I'm gonna go get some popcorn. I'll be right back.
Okay, when you get back, I'm going to do a YouTube update since we got some electric questions over there.
Yeah, I'm going to go get something to drink here myself, and I'll be right back.
Well, everybody break for a minute, and then we'll resume. Mike Linsky just joined. Oh, well, you can fill the gaps while everybody goes out for a snack. Hey, Mike.
Everybody left as soon as I came on.
Yeah, everybody had to go get a snack or take a leak or something.
Okay.
Everybody but me and Jamie.
Who's on tonight?
We got Jamie Holford, Bob Hunt, Steve Hines, and Sparky just left.
Okay.
And we got a pretty good host of people on YouTube. I'm going to do a YouTube update because we got some electric questions over there, or at least one. And so, yeah, we're rolling along pretty good tonight, hitting on lots of different topics.
All right.
You been doing anything good for fun lately?
Yeah, I got a little something to talk about, but I'll wait till the other guys get
Okay, yeah. I hadn't told anybody. I guess I should wait until later, but my hip's falling apart. All the hardware is just, I'm clanking around like a tin man, so I'm gonna have to go in for a redo in about 3 weeks.
Oh no.
So
On the same one you just had done?
all the hardware's come loose. Yep.
Oh,
I went down Wednesday morning when I got out of bed. I wondered why it had been getting worse. All through the spring and summer, I was getting better and better, and all of a sudden I started sliding, and that's why, because it was coming loose. But anyway, I don't need.
so now you got another 6 months of rehab again?
Yep, it's going to be a long winter again.
Is that going to keep you from going to Huntersville?
I don't know. It depends on when surgery is. I haven't scheduled it yet. I'm expecting a phone call. Well, today the call didn't come, so early in the week, hopefully I'll know exactly when. I don't want it to affect that, but if I do get there, I'll just have to sit on a wheelchair row at the front of the front bench of the shed because I can't walk around. All I can do is shuffle on a walker. It's a mess.
I hate to hear that for you, Rusty.
Yeah, me too. What caused the hardware to come undone?
It's just my bones are too soft for it to heal around the screws and pins. You know, I go back to that long thing of time of dialysis again. That's longer than any studies have ever been done, any patients to compare me to. So I'm just a question mark as far as doing things like that. So they're going to do a full hip replacement this time and see if it sticks.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to pinning and clamping, which was probably a way, the least invasive way to try to fix it, but it just didn't work. And so we're going to try a more radical approach and hope I can survive it, you know, but I'll do the best I can. I've survived everything else so far, but
well, that's gonna mess up your finishing up the Cardinal and stuff, then, won't it?
yeah, probably gonna mess up a lot between now and spring. I don't know. Maybe this will heal up faster. Who knows? You know, maybe I can get some therapy going and be back faster than I was before. So, but I'm weaker going into it now. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't know what.
How fast the one? You know, if it was normal, a buddy of mine just had his done, and he was actually walking fairly well within a week. A couple of days, he was walking with a walker all around.
Yeah.
But you know, how well you heal. I mean, that's going to have a lot to do with the socket part and the ball part that goes down in the bone of your leg.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it works. I'm just bracing for it and trying to go in, get as strong as I can, and go into it with a positive attitude. And we'll see how it works this time.
Hi, Mike.
You might ask him too about injecting stem cells in there. I got a friend, instead of, he had one knee replaced and the other one he had stem cells put in that Medicare and stuff doesn't cover. I don't know what he paid for all the injections, were $10,000 or something like that. But he didn't want another knee replacement. And he says that the one he had the stem cells put in, that his knee is as good as it would have been when he was 30 years old.
Yeah.
That if he done both of them that way, he'd be back skating and stuff again. It's like, holy shit. But they haven't okayed it yet for insurances and Medicaid and stuff like that.
What good is it to have a 30-year-old knee and a 65-year-old body?
Yeah. Well, we got some updates from YouTube. There was Frank wanted to know, let's see, it's slid out of view now, about he heard a reference. This is Night Nav. His name's Frank. He heard a reference to Igor's system. How does that compare with the KR timer?
Well, Igor's system is an active timer. In other words, it's a accelerometer. It senses changes in the in G-forces and adjusts the motor instantly accordingly. The other system doesn't do that.
Yeah, the KR timer has a gain in it, and you can actually hear it work, but it senses something about amperage of the motor.
It's a governor.
Yeah, it does actually raise and lower, but it does it in a different.
Yeah, it doesn't do the same job that Igor's does.
Cruise control. And Top Brent from Utah comments he's almost done with his Yeeski Nobler conversion.
Hey, Brent, how you doing, guy?
Do you know Top Brent?
Yeah, I know Brent. Brent Williams?
Yeah, I think so. From Utah, Ogden, Utah. Says he's converting a Yeeski Nobler. He said it was 39.5 ounces with Brodak 40, and now he's hoping for 42 ounces, all up with the Cobra 2820 TP 4S 2800 and a Castle Edge ESC FM9 Huben.
You should use 2800 of that. You should use probably 39 ounces, probably a 21 or 2200.
Should have used this.
I use those. I cut them up for tip weight.
Yeah, but us Gordon just had a remark.
Is that a brand new one?
That is a virgin LAS.
Wow.
And that makes number 2 that I have. I got another one in the silver. But one of the guys at the contest Sunday, and I like to be at places early just because. And there was a guy that was selling motors throughout the weekend, and I sold a few of his motors for him on Facebook. Well, he just so happens to throw this in his little box of motors, and I'm like the second person there. And I look at it, and so I grab it, and I hold on to it for like 10 minutes thinking, okay, I don't have the money to buy this, but I know if I buy it, I have another 46 LA I could just dump off, and kind of cover it. Yeah, well, you know what? I went ahead and bought it.
Yeah, well, it's got a good home because you're an aspiring pilot flying, hitting 500 in intermediate already. So you'll be flying those LAs on into advanced. So yeah, use that, bolt it up, and fly it as far as you can.
Yeah, for $65, that'd be.
Hey, I got a question
for a gypsy. I'm thinking on scratch building.
Huh?
I got a question for you on that lost foam, that Usama wing you made for me.
Yeah.
I
did a lost foam Usama for you?
Yeah, and it's going to be fully sheeted.
Okay.
You added extra ribs in there so we could.
I don't remember doing it, but that's okay. I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's that Usama that I'm going to do. You did the lost foam for that.
Okay.
Well, what I'm wondering is, would that wing sheeting that you're sanding down, would you think that would work on that?
Yeah, probably. I know that Dennis actually built a few of them with 1/32 inch sheeting. Dennis out of Meeson.
Oh, and he didn't have the scallop?
No. Of course, he had the ribs like 1.5 inches apart at the most,
I can measure, go down there and get that, see what the.
I think it's 1.6. That's kind of the standard I use with 16th. You don't have to go any closer to 1.6.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I could just. But I'm thinking about just being stiffer or whatever, a little stiffer wood, and. But maybe I won't need it.
You could use a thinner, stiffer wood. It would be all right. Yeah.
Because
it would soak up less finish too.
Right. That's what I'm thinking about.
If you want some of that 364s, I got about 400 sheets down at time.
I know. That's why.
I just got another 200 or 300 sheets that I could do, and they're like 8-pound stock, 8 or 9 pound stock. So when you take it down, it's going to be about the same weight as 4 pound 16ths, but it's going to be a lot stiffer, and it's going to soak up a lot less finish.
Right, and that's what I was wondering if it, and I still wouldn't get the scallops because it's a lot stiffer.
Yeah, that'll work.
That would work. All right, I'm gonna get some of that from you.
Okay. You have to get on Tom's case to start getting it sanded.
Did you get over there this week and do any more or not?
Well, I didn't get over there at all. I told him I'd come down, and he could build one of his airplanes, and I'd feed that stuff through. It takes about 20 seconds, I guess, for each piece to get through. So you do that times, like, right now we got about 600 pieces to do. So do the math. I'm going to be down there for a while.
We got a follow-up question on the electric. Frank came back and said, so there's a specific ESC needed to work with Igor's timer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You need the Jetty spin, and he's got a special one made just for him from Jetty's program, just for him. You need his timer. You don't have to use his motor, but he recommends you do because he has it wound specially for that. And his props. You don't have to use his props, but they are so good. They're light and they work so well. I don't see why you wouldn't want to use them.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll just go to his whole system.
I was going to ask you about that too. He runs regular rotation instead of the tractor or whatever, or it is a tractor. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I was really enjoying flying with the reverse rotation props. I believe they gave you better tension up top and top hourglasses and the tops of square eights and things. I like the way they flew. A lot of people didn't, and apparently he doesn't. So he makes nothing but tractor props. So I'm using his whole system. So I'm switching back over to tractors.
Yeah, see, Samantha likes the other ones.
Deal breaker either way.
She likes the other ones also, and but since he didn't make anything else, we used his prop, and it works. But she still thinks that the other gives her better tension and
yeah, so do I. But I don't think it's such a big deal, man. We flew with tractor props for how many years?
Yeah.
So I'm going back to tractors.
I don't mean to get off topic of your electric subject there, but just wanted to share. I had a couple of guys reach out to me, local guys. One of them found me through your site, Jamie, through the Facebook Control Line site, and then another one through Stunthangar. They live probably 30 minutes away or so, and they're getting back into Control Line, and they knew that I lived in the Nashville area, so they reached out to me, and we're going to have a little half-A day at my house on Sunday. Everybody's going to bring their half-A stuff out, and we're going to fart around with that. And probably, since it's Ringmaster weekend, we're going to fly some stuff on 15, like junior Ringmasters, junior flight streaks, stuff like that, because we can fly on up to 52s in my backyard pretty comfortably.
Do baby Ringmasters qualify for Ringmaster Day?
Anything that's a Ringmaster qualifies for Ringmaster.
There you go.
Any iteration of it at all. So
I built a couple of those beginner Ringmasters, the old sheep balsa one for my kid when he was 3,
Yeah, the slab wing ones, I mean, they fly okay for trainers, but the actual built-up wing half-A ones, they fly really well.
I used to have a couple of those.
Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what these guys are bringing or what we're going to get into, but I know I'll be flying the electric Brodak combat plane. Sam and I will probably fly some half-A combat stuff. And then, like I said, 15 size stuff, junior flight streaks, junior Ringmasters.
You're
better fly on that thing first. Have it done by this weekend, Jamie.
What's that?
So you better fly on that tonight, tomorrow morning to have it ready for this weekend.
Is that a micro?
That's a baby. That's a Sterling.
Yeah, I got a micro.
The SD.
Micro with a TD010 on it. I would have flown across the street if I was able to. It's Ron Cribb's motor, and
oh yeah. Well, I was just I was surprised, that two guys reached out to me just out of the blue like that, and it's because of Stunthangar and because of the Facebook Control Line page.
Was that Daryl's that got a hold of you?
Daryl was one.
Uh-huh.
And I cannot remember the other gentleman's name.
Yeah, I told Daryl to look you up on the group because he said he had nobody around him that flew. Yeah, I didn't know how close y'all were.
He's about 25 minutes from me, so I'll be meeting him on Sunday. So I'll probably do a bunch of videos and string them together, put them all up on YouTube or something like that, and then I'll share them onto the Control Line Flying site.
Call Eddie up and make him go fly.
Yeah, I ought to, but I don't know if Eddie flies any half-A stuff. And Eddie's about an hour away from me. Or north of me.
Steve, did you get that cowl cleared?
Yeah, I got that fixed. I got that cleared.
Hi, Steve.
I got this stuff. Hello, everyone. I got this stuff called Finish One, automotive clear,
Oh, okay.
and stuff. And it's a 2-part.
Yeah.
This other can, it's a 2-part set. So I used that, and that worked out well. That came out real nice. And
Make sure you use a charcoal respirator.
Yeah.
yeah.
You definitely don't want to breathe that stuff.
Oh, no.
It's got toluene diisocyanates and least stable aliphatic isocyanates.
I was outside when I did this.
Yeah.
I did this outside. I took that and I put this on here. I did it outside. It's potent.
Don't matter if you do it outside. Wear a mask. Wear a charcoal.
That I did.
Yeah, if you do it inside, you're supposed to have a fresh air system.
Particle matrix. Do it.
I sanded the whole thing down, and I got it to be dull again. So, and then I went with this Finish One. I put this Finish One on here. It's a 2-part setup that comes with this other can, and then they give you this other type of retainer thing that you clean the gun with. But I did it with an airbrush, and that worked out real nice. The nice thing about it is, wow, what a shine it gives you too.
Oh yeah.
I got a hell of a nice more shine out of this than you do with the regular clear.
So what that quart cost you?
This setup was $66.
Yeah, that'll do a lot. But yeah, just remember, wear a respirator, charcoal respirator.
It's 32 fluid ounces, and then they still got to use like a cap full of this stuff or whatever. It's
Man, that sounds like scary stuff. I don't think I'll be using that.
Possibly a 2-to-1. It's a 2-to-1 thing that you use. 4-to-1 that you mix. 4-to-1 you mix and you put it together. And I put it together that way. But it's potent. And then they say you only got to use a cap full of this stuff here, and that's what you clear the airbrush with. I wasn't too worried about the airbrush though. I cleared it out to that point, but the airbrushes I get them at Harbor Freight. They're $7-8 a piece. They're throwaway items.
Now, what you have there is that high gloss. What you want to do is you want to wet sand that with like 3,000 grit paper. Well, it's dull, and then buff it up. But you got to do it within 24 hours, or it's very difficult to buff it up.
Yeah, I did. I did start working on that.
No.
I sanded it up and I started working on it.
Takes away that plastic look. It gives you more of a lacquer shine look, which is a much finer look.
Yeah, because it had a hell of a shine to it though. It has more of a shine to it than the clear does, than the Brodette Clear did. But I started to work with that, then I started to sand it up. Now I gotta wax it.
It'll work good. That won't be hurt by. You can put probably 100% nitro on it, and it won't hurt it.
Oh, I tried that. I just took it direct and I made a test piece first before I put it on the plane. I have a test piece that I experiment with, and I put it on that first and applicated it, and then I just took the fuel 50%. I just dumped it on there and saturated, soaked it, and figured okay. And I let it sit there. Let it sit there for a good 20 minutes. I wiped it off, and nothing happened to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to it. I said, okay, it's good to put on the plane at that point. Then I did the cow.
So just imagine what that can do to your lungs.
Oh no doubt, jeez. This stuff is potent. It works. It's nice. It's potent. It's not something I'll do. I won't do it in the house.
The Chemline urethane clear has almost killed Ernowski.
Yeah, well, he's not Emron.
Well, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Emron, so he almost got. Yeah, I know.
That's just about like Emron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now they're not urethane anymore. They're polyester, but the catalyzed part is what's dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, Wendy's thing was he did it right in that shed in that garage in his backyard. And he said the cats come in and out of here and they don't die, so I should be all right. And then he almost killed them.
Almost killed them. Be careful.
But that's
that's
first time I ever experimented and tried using this. But it protected it right where I need it right now. So where the fuel was going, where the raw fuel was coming onto it and just eating up the paint, the finish.
It won't anymore.
Nope.
No. Well, I took it all out. I buffed it. I sanded it all out. That finish was horrifying. The way it got eaten up.
That will look just like that long after you're gone.
Yeah.
It'll stay that way. No kidding. But it was. I sanded it completely down. I got it all down. I repainted the whole cow. After I got done repainting it, then I put this stuff on it, and it worked nice. I gotta still put some more.
This is the same stuff. It's a polyester clear, and it's UV cured. But that's what they're using on Taylor guitars. It's the exact same stuff we're using.
Now, can you get any of that, Bob?
Yeah, you go to a car store and buy it. It's polyester clear. You get DuPont, you get Ditzler, you can get PPG, Martin Seymour. They're all the same.
DuPont.
Then that's not two-part, then, is it? It's just a single part.
No, that's two-part.
Then why is it
polyester?
Then why would it be UV cure?
Well, you can UV cure it as well as letting it cure with the hardener. They actually do a UV cure on it.
Oh, because I want to try this new stuff out. That if, say, you paint in your garage and you don't have any windows open, and you paint it with this stuff, and there is no UV, it will sit there for a month if you left it in your garage.
Yeah.
But I show these guys painting stuff, and then they let it set for 5-10 minutes, so it flows out super nice. Then they open the garage door, take it outside, and within
the sun cures it.
Yeah, the UV cure hits like 3 minutes. It's done.
Yeah.
The guy at the paint store, he even told me it's a one-time use. Once you blend this stuff and mix it, you're using it and it's a one-time use.
Yeah, it'll kick over. Now, the other thing you want to do, if you want to use that hardener again,
yeah,
it's not going to last more than like a week at the most, and the potency will go away. But there is a product now you can get. It's a product that you open the can and you spray it across the top of the can, and it sucks the oxygen out. And then you put the cap on. You go to your store and ask them about that stuff that'll prolong the life of the Part B. The hardener part.
The hardener. This
yeah,
stuff here.
That stuff, will be in a week. It'll be no good.
This stuff here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I only took out of it what I needed.
But as soon as you open the can, then it's losing its potency, and you won't get it back. But if you have that stuff that you spray across the top of the can and then put the cap on, it actually sucks all the oxygen out, and you have a couple of seconds to put the cap back on, and then it'll be all right.
Where do I get that at?
That's the same store.
Same store?
Go ask them about that.
I'll have to go back there and ask them about that.
My friend Joel Costantino up here in the Poconos, he does Barrett Jackson level restorations on cars. So we shoot all our clear up there at his place, and he's got that stuff. So when we open the cans, he sprays the thing across the top and then closes the can. He says that'll prolong the.
What about the clear? What's the shelf?
That lasts forever.
The resin will last forever. It's the hardener that.
This will last forever?
Yeah, the hardener will lose its potency.
Is it too late for Stephen to do it to the can he's already opened?
How long's it been?
A couple days.
No, go ask your guy at the auto paint store and tell him.
It was 2 days. It was 2 days ago.
Yeah, you'd probably be okay.
Yeah, the guy when I bought mine, he said, "Don't use it after a month."
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told me. He goes a month. He goes, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, but that got
It's-
stuff now that'll help you.
Yeah,
pull
the
them
other
up.
stuff, I didn't even know about the other. He didn't tell me nothing about the other because I was wondering about blanking it with nitrogen. You know, if that would work because nitrogen.
I'll ask Joel what the name of this stuff is because he had this little thing. He sprayed it across the top and he puts the cap on. He says, because he uses a lot of this stuff. You know, he does cars, and he can't afford to be buying hardener all the time. You know,
Right.
he buys it in large quantities. So
Then you could get this in a large quantity. But I told him I showed him the piece I was spraying and what I was doing. I didn't need a large quantity, and he gave me this, and I showed him that, and that's when he gave me portion of this retainer. So he wants like $25 for the whole thing.
yeah, DuPont has half. They sell the hardener in half pint cans.
Yeah. Louis, I was talking to Louis Wargas. He uses that DuPont,
Mm-hmm.
and so if that is our. So DuPont's the same stuff as this, and you can get as long as it's a two-part.
Yeah, it's relatively the same exact stuff. I mean, they all have their proprietary formulations, but the characteristic of the stuff is the same.
Yeah.
Is more or less the hardener, isn't it, on it, so it protects it?
What's that?
It's more or less the hardener, so that the hardener with the clear that actually protects it for the 15%, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, the hardener, the stuff when it's catalyzed, it becomes so hard that it's not going to be affected by anything. You know,
That's what I need. I needed to stop the 15%.
They call it anti-graffiti paint. They use it on fleet paint. They use it on trucks that get graffiti, paint on. They take lacquer thinner out there and just wipe the graffiti off with lacquer thinner, and they're fine.
I didn't even get 10 flakes out of it when he started eating it up.
Yeah.
I started eating up the calories at that point. I had 7, 8 flakes.
Just for reference, that won't happen with electric.
I know that. Thanks. I have electric airplanes. I don't have a problem with them.
Just say it.
No, I know. I don't have a problem with electric. I have electric airplanes. There's so many ways of cheating with electric.
I tell you what would Billy Werwage say about that statement? That's what I want to know. What would you say, Billy?
Electric airplane. He said, "This is the finest flying model airplane I've ever had my hands on in my life."
Oh shit!
Electric, you don't have to worry about it. You can spray regular clear on it. You can do whatever you want. It's finished. There's nothing harms you.
Yeah.
The bugs, you hit the bugs, they do more damage.
That tape you have there, that felt like it was about 1 million years ago we did that. It was in what, like 95, I think, or 96, someplace in there.
It's it looks copyright 96.
96, yeah. That was 1 million years ago.
That was before electric was even invented.
That's right.
In fact, I have another one that I had got. What did I got? I got this.
We did it by candle power.
Yeah.
I remember it was
Yes,
when electric came around first. You remember Mike Palco first brought that around. He went to a Middlesex contest.
Brought what?
When he first started doing electric.
Oh yeah. He it was back.
That's a long time ago. We're talking about.
He had a NiCad powered twister, and
and then he had
he got
super type airplane.
Got through the whole pattern with it.
Yeah, it was a small little profile, but I thought it was a super.
It wasn't a really good pattern because it didn't have much power. But then when he got into the Outrunners and the Lipo, of course now they got those graphene batteries.
He said, "Hey, I got an airplane and it's electric." It was the first person everybody stopped and watched. It was at a Middlesex contest, and he watched him fly this electric little blue airplane, and all of a sudden it enhanced so big, it was sophisticated.
He's the godfather of it, no doubt. He and Walt Brunel were the two real pioneers.
Yeah, because I remember Palco was one who originated that one.
Actually, Brunel was doing it even before Palco was.
Okay.
But Palco was the first East Coast guy, and
East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm going to remember. It was East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, I saw him first do it, and originated with that.
He gets full marks for coming up with all this.
And he's had that P-51 Mustang for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it flies great.
I know. I designed it.
I don't, because wasn't that the same design as the one?
It's
you
my
helped
design. It's the one
Danny
I.
Banjock? Isn't that the same one like you helped Danny Banjock design?
We built 3 of them in my shop at one time.
Yeah, but Danny's was the one looked white and black with the orange tail.
Yeah, and the teeth in the front and everything.
Right, the teeth in the front, and then Falco's and that one looked like a taxi cab.
It's yellow, yeah. Palco's really. I flew Palco's. It really flies good. It's excellent, excellent airplane.
Yeah,
as good as it gets. But Banjocks, I flew Banjocks at the Nationals one year. I was judging, and he said, "Would you like after the Nationals?" He said, "Would you like to fly it?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I said, "Is it touchy?" He says, "Oh yeah, it's real touchy. You got to be careful." So on the takeoff roll, I fed it a little up. I fed a little more up in. Fed a whole lot of up in. I reached out and grabbed the up line and yanked on it. The airplane finally got airborne. I said, "Yeah, this is real touchy." He trims his airplane so nose heavy. I don't know how he gets them around corners, but he does. But Falco was trimmed exactly like I trimmed mine. It's a lot quicker turning, you know. So, but Banjock couldn't fly my airplane or Mike's airplane. We all traded off airplanes one day. He couldn't fly them. They were too sensitive for him.
Yeah.
This is what you get used to.
All right. How many of y'all use Prather pitch gauges? I know Bob did.
Used to.
You want to find out the easiest way to use that? Turn it upside down.
Yep.
Don't try to put it on a table and do it. Hold your finger on it. Turn it upside down.
Yeah, hold it against the light.
Yeah, hold it against the light.
Well, it's not really so much, how to use it, because I mean, with Steve, me, Ed, and John in my club, I mean, they got them and they know how to use them, because I just picked one up for $40.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, that's a hell of a deal.
It was a good deal till the actual plate right here has a nice, little kink twist to it.
I'll pick it off and bend it back.
Yeah. But here's my question, though, because on theirs, I don't ever remember seeing this. This one has a mirror on it.
Huh.
Turn it upside down.
I mean, that's the top of it,
Yeah.
Like where you stick the prop at.
How about that?
Got a mirror right there on station 1.
You don't have to turn it upside down.
Wow, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's an innovative little thing.
I mean, it's war. I mean, it's used. You can see, the first.
It'll work.
But I mean, from what my buddy said, I won't be using none of them anyways. It's going to be 10 on up.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just that one that's bent, and that's it.
And one I had was stolen at the NEAT fair. I went up to do a demonstration of electric control line flying at the NEAT fair, which is all electric. And I left my pitch gauge over by my flight box, came back, and it was gone.
Oh, that's
incredibly surprising and sucks.
Yeah, you would think the modelers, you know what? I could leave that at a control. I hate to say it this way. I could leave that at a control line site all day long, unattended, and no one would touch it.
still be there.
Yeah, that's the way I treat my stuff. I don't.
They have more respect.
Well, I hate to say it that way because I know a lot of good RC flyers too, people I trust, but it just kind of irked me.
Yeah.
And
I have friends out here that are RC and so forth, but I always found them, they still have a different arrogant attitude to them.
Well, some of them do, some of them don't. But then I went and got one of Bob McDonald's pitch gauges, which is even finer. Fraser's fine, it works great, but Bob McDonald's is got a longer scale and it's finer. You can really get down to the nitty gritty. And then I bought one from Uwe Kanen from Germany, and that thing was built like a Lamborghini. It's unbelievable. It's $100, but it was really worth it.
Hell, that's what I paid Bob McDonald for his, was $100.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah.
They're nice.
But
you got a heck of a deal, James, for $40.
Yeah, I mean, he had one brand new in the box he was selling for $100, but I didn't have the 100 to spare on it, so I got this one because I was going to get them both, and maybe even flip the other one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
that'll last you the rest of your life.
Yeah, because I texted my buddy. I'm like, "Hey, is a Prather pitch gauge worth $40?" You know, he said, "Well, get it." He didn't even ask me no questions, just get it.
Yep.
Right?
Well, you'll find out once you put the blade on there upside down, and you're trying to look at it. If you just put your finger on, hold it up in that little cutout, flip it upside down. Gravity helps you, and you can slide that up there and then match that angle a whole lot easier. But what I found out is that either these propellers are really wrong or the pitch gauge is really wrong.
Now, how are you heating the props to twist them, James? Are you using a heat gun or are you using hot water?
Oh, I haven't even done any of that. Like, I look at this thing, man, I swear this is something Helen Keller made. That's how much sense it makes. Just look at it. You know, so I mean,
I've never
told me, like, don't worry about it. Me and Steve's gonna get you right with it.
Steve will show you how to use it. But
I
recommend using the hot water technique. That's what I learned from Walker. Walker showed me one day. I was using heat gun, and sometimes you put a little too much heat on them, it would actually ripple the carbon props, and wouldn't break them, but it would ripple them. But the water, you could dip it into a certain depth and bring it out, and you could just do a stage at a time. And even overseas, Paul was using a little travel thing that you put in water to make hot tea. He put it into a glass and boiled the water and was pitching his props that way. It was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, because they're constantly repitching every time we go out there.
Yep.
You can.
I don't know how they do it, Jamie, because I tried and I couldn't get one blade the same, let alone 3 to match.
It takes practice, but you can get it.
Oh my God, it's like.
Where can I get a pitch gauge?
Bobby McDonald has them for sale.
You can repitch any kind of polymer prop, but not wood props. Is that right?
No, wood props you can't do. Not this way anyway. You can sand them, you know.
But any kind of plastic, fiberglass, carbon, any kind of polymer prop.
Yeah, we were pitching the APCs. They pitch pretty easy.
Yeah.
Carbon props all pitch pretty easy.
What I found out is that a lot of them lose their pitch, though.
Yeah, you gotta keep after them. You know, especially if you're doing a large. If you're taking a large swipe at it, if you're starting with a pitch that's pretty close to what you want, and you're just like you're adding a tenth to the tip or something, that usually stays in pretty good. But after you get done, you want to put them in a refrigerator or put them in ice water too to set them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I never did that. But, you know, what I found was I sat there and messed around, got them pitched. And then next thing you know, Samantha's flying. It's like, we're flying too slow. We're flying too slow. Pick up the RPM and stuff. I'm like, what's going on? I checked the prop and all my pitch is gone. I'm like, well, no wonder.
Put them in a cooler or a refrigerator or just ice water or something, and it sets them a little better. You still have to keep after them, you know, especially if you're if you're putting a lot of pitch in or taking a lot of pitch out.
Okay.
It's gonna creep back. You got to be careful.
That's a pretty neat little plane you got there, Jamie.
What did you buy? Oh, that's a Oriental, huh? No, what is that?
A T-Rex.
Oh, that's a T-Rex?
Yeah. I just brought it home for my buddy. He didn't have room in his truck after Tulsa or something. I think he had got what plane he got from John Hill. Was it Rich Oliver that had the plane? I can't remember which Nats. It was the Texan.
No, that was John Hill's, yeah.
Okay. Well, that my buddy has that plane now.
He's a good builder. Oh, God's a great builder.
And I mean, that plane looks great.
Yeah. He really built beautiful airplanes.
When I was in Akron, there was a guy there with a T-Rex that he turned into electric. And
out there electric, actually.
Pardon me?
There's a lot of them out there that have been converted to electric.
And that was the first T-Rex I seen put over into electric. And that's when we had Samantha's electric twister. That was her first electric airplane. And we had a lot of problems with it. But that's what made me think of how well electric could fly on changing one over or whatever, you know.
They generally fly pretty well.
I was impressed how a T-Rex flew.
Speaking of that Akron contest, do they still have that contest?
No, they're not having it anymore.
That's too bad. That was a great place to have a contest at that museum and air.
Oh, I loved it there.
Oh man, that was beautiful.
That was always in October, and that one year we were down, was it the first or the second year? I can't remember.
I was teaching Sam how to do squares.
Yeah, it may have been the year after that we went back to it, because we went, I think, 3 times while they had it before it quit. But they had a pyrotechnic meet there from all over the world.
Oh.
And it was across the street, kind of, from the motel we stayed at.
Mm-hmm.
We walked, you know, we heard this stuff going off. We walked around, we stood on the balcony on the opposite side of the motel and watched fireworks like I've never seen before in my life.
Oh.
It was just fantastic. But it was like every time we went there, I mean, we just had such a good time. There was the park down the road to where you could, because Samantha at the time never flew off pavement until we were there the first time.
Oh.
So we went and worked on the airplane trim a little bit and stuff like that in a park. They let us fly there. I mean, I loved it there.
That was a great site to hold a contest.
Yeah, I like that museum that glider that guy made, and he pulled his wife around in it.
Yeah.
You know, she pissed him off. He just cut.
They had that Martin, what was it, the B-26 Marauder?
Yeah, that they were
rebuilding.
It's too bad that ain't gonna fly, but they said they just didn't have enough money to make it airworthy.
Yeah. You know who Leon Schulman was, right? He just passed away recently.
Yeah.
That? He was a pilot in World War II. He was a Martin B-26 Marauder pilot. And that was, they lost more of those airplanes to mechanical failures than they did to enemy action. It was a very dangerous airplane. And not only did he fly them in service, but when they came in, they were damaged. After they repaired them, he volunteered to do the test flying on them. Here's a guy with big ones, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, they were saying something about, what? I think it was the Hellcat. Was it the Hellcat when it first went into, they put it into service so fast that the first 6 months or whatever, they lost more airplanes from mechanical failures and stuff than they did from the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was one hell of an airplane at the end, but they said they were just doing anything they could to
get them out there.
Was it airframe failures or power plant or what?
I'm not really, they said mechanical, so I'm not sure what.
That could be anything.
Yeah, what actually failed. But I guess there was a lot of different things that failed on them. But, you know, it was known as, you know, one of the best fighter planes there were. But,
yeah, very durable and maneuverable.
You know.
Was that Grumman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grumman.
F6F.
Yeah, then the Bearcat came out right at the end of the war, and I don't know if it's seen much service or not.
I only seen a couple of weeks. Only saw a couple of weeks of service.
Yeah, they said that was really, you know, that was really the airplane. They said Grumman wanted to name the Hellcat the Tomcat, and they wouldn't let him do it because they said it conjured bad images of what a Tomcat is. So I guess, you know, they'd call some guys were called Tomcats.
The Navy got the Tomcat.
Many years later.
Yeah, many years later. But yeah, it was calling it the Tomcat was too racy.
Yet they had naked women on the nose.
Yeah, the nose art.
Ambiguous decision making there.
Little mixed signals going on here.
Yeah.
Funny.
That's like when we were talking about the Amish a while ago and the kind of tools they could and could not use. And somebody I didn't say anything about it, chimed in on YouTube and says now they're adopting cell phones to their use everyday gear. So
they got to be charged with an air generator.
what is it about electricity that's not good?
I don't know what their deal is about electricity.
They don't like Benjamin
gas-powered electric generators.
So they're all going to be flying glow.
Yeah. You got to light one unless you use.
That's what you referred to me as, an Amish guy.
You got to fly them on hot days with Fox 35 so they'll crank without an igniter on it.
I'm going to tell that to Steve. I mean, like, man, Bob said we are nothing but Amish. Electric. We are Amish. Let's just grow beards and wear black and ride a horse into town and try to find a trade merchant.
Speaking of growing beards, Michael's come in here looking like a werewolf since the last time we saw him.
That's right. Yeah, he's got a big beard. Jamie will grow his beard out. The only thing is you're going to have a hard time doing the overhead 8 because they don't allow you to take that big hat off.
Geez, on the electric, what was that mode you were telling me on the electric mode you had? That was it, that Brodak 28 or something?
Oh, for a 40 size?
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 size plane.
You
showed it one time.
A 2820/7. That's
right.
And they have the shit.
And you run how many cells?
4.
4 cells. How many milli?
We're running 3,300, but it's just because I needed nose weight. And I figured, well,
build a nose logger.
Yeah, well, on these ARF Vector 40s, the nose is just that long, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to change. I want one for the Shark 35.
yeah, you know, you may.
For a Shark 35, you don't need anything more than a Power 15, a 2400 milliamp 4S. That's what I had in the USA AMA. That was 620 squares, 52 ounces all up, and it flew like a bandit through anything. I mean, it went through wind like it wasn't even there.
4 cell 2400?
Yeah, 4-cell 2400, a Power 15, and or equivalent, but I use Power 15. It worked great. That's all you need.
Yeah.
We've lost Bob's picture.
I got to get it set up for this plane so I can start playing with it. Plane's built. Plane's all set up for it. I just got to get a good rest of the setup for it.
Yeah, like I said, wow, look at that.
Yeah, there he is. Is that your trophy? Look at that.
Nice.
Nice.
And from what I was told, Bob Brookins wrote the program to do this. And so Owen would go around and they'll just, whip it into that. I much prefer this over certificates any day of the week.
I like those. I've got a couple of them. Back in 2017, that's what our club Carolina Gang was giving out, and also at Triple Tree followed up with pictures. But yeah, they made plaques in Huntersville and gave them to us at the contest.
I'd rather have money. It fits in your wallet much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody asked me.
I'm only in this for the women and the money.
Yeah, that's why we're into it.
My icon's not moving here.
No, your camera's down.
It goes black.
I got a frozen picture of your thumbnail, but every time you talk, the screen's black.
Nope. There you went. I was going to tell you though, Steve.
Mouse up and turn your camera off.
This Shark 35.
The Shark 35. It's the Pat Johnson version of the Shark 35 that he made for electric.
What's that?
That's the one I have is the electric version Pat Johnson made, the Shark 35.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Just make sure that the lightest wood you use on the tail.
Oh, plane's built.
Oh, the plane's already built?
Plane's built.
Oh, okay.
I can't get my camera to work.
Yeah, I thought I saw the
Clip this
camera icon turn red, so you turned it off and back on, and that didn't fix it.
There it is. The plane's built.
Here's a shark.
Oh, cool.
Pat Johnson, short 35.
I'm gonna go away and come back, see if I can get this to work.
Okay.
Hey, Bob, you have the face of, oh shit, he went too fast.
What?
Left too fast. Yeah, what does that weigh without the motor and everything?
I never tried it yet because never put anything together with it yet. I haven't tried it yet. That's the only thing I didn't do. Let's see, clip from here. Where we at? Okay, yeah, I haven't weighed it yet.
Well, the one thing you can do is that just like this 40 size motor, whatever, you could use any of these. If they all want to be the same, you can put the motor in your ESC and stuff like that, and then balance it and figure out how much weight you need. And that's what I did. I figured out how much weight I need to balance the airplane. You can move the battery up down a little bit, and then if you need a heavy if you need more weight in the nose, then just put a bigger battery in there.
Bigger battery.
Because just for the reason is you're using only like the one for Samantha's 40 there, we're only using 52% of the battery.
Yeah,
that battery will last forever.
Yeah, well, and you're also just putting a lot of static weight in the airplane you don't need. That's why you need to lengthen the nose on a new airplane.
Right.
Lengthen the nose because
Right.
Because if you think about it, we've been putting electric systems in glow airplanes. The airplane's designed for glow engines. The heaviest component in a glow airplane is the engine.
Right.
And typically, let's say a stunt airplane's got a 40 in it, or a 61 or a 65 or whatever it is. You're looking at, with the header and coupler, 12, 13 ounces. And it's as far north in the airplane as you can get. And you're replacing it with a 6-ounce electric motor. It's less than half the weight of the glow motor. So you're going to have to stick a lot of dead weight in there to get the airplane to balance. The better idea is to just build the airplanes with longer noses.
Yeah.
Also would
You build it with longer noses. Yeah, I did that on the.
Fly don't weigh that much.
That's
Right. His airplane's already built, Bob. And it's like them ARF.
Well, I know what I'm just saying.
Yeah. The new one that I built for Samantha, or we're building.
Steven had a question. What was it?
No, Bob, like you saw the other day, all of a sudden the legacy appeared in the room here.
Oh yeah, you
yeah, he dropped all of a sudden it appeared here. Well, that's a glow engine. That's a glow setup, that plane that we converted and made electric. Now we didn't know about or think about it to lengthen the nose, but that ended up going to a bigger battery setup to compensate.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do to make it work. What I'm saying is that when
I was working with a 5-star, I went to a 6-star.
You design a new airplane for electric, make the nose longer.
This one here is this Shark 35 here. Show you you kind of clicked yourself off, but that's the one Pat Johnson designed for electric.
Uh-huh.
And he may have lengthened that nose already. You'd have to ask him.
I'd have to find out. All I did with it is we built it at the shop here. Then I took it and we built it at the shop. Then I took it, we painted it, rubbed it out. But I didn't have to worry about a lot of other things I do with nitro.
You might want to talk to is Warren Tiart. He has an electric Shark 35, and it's flies real well. So you might want to talk to him about what setup.
Warren Tiart.
Tiart, Tiahrt. He's in Pampa. He lives in Tucson. He's in that club.
Okay.
Just tell him Bob sent you. He'll hang up on you.
Hey, speaking of Tucson, that reminds me of Arizona out there. You've heard of Excalibur?
What's that?
Excalibur fuel. Mark Smith?
Yeah.
Excalibur fuel, Mark Smith. I was on the phone with him a week ago, and she's got health issues and stuff like that. He's been going through whatever, accidents, stuff like that and so forth, but he's selling the business now.
Wow.
He's looking to see if somebody wants to.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he is. But he told me, he had some work on his shoulder already, and he went to back surgery and stuff, and he's getting up in age, and he's going to be moving. And he's going to move somewhere else, I think, where the other family is. So he's putting the business up for sale if anybody's interested in the Excalibur.
Probably a lot more than money than what I got.
Actually, I don't know what a business like that is kind of worth and stuff. But you get the name, you get the whole database, all the drums and the whole setup that he has for it. I think he was asking $3,000 for it or something like that, $3,000 plus for it.
Oh, that ain't too bad. But the whole thing with making fuel is, when we were doing it, is that we had more money into the bottle than we did the fuel. When I tell people that I mix fuel for like around $9 a gallon, if I had to sell you if I sold you the fuel for $9 a gallon, that would be, you had to supply the jug, because if I buy the jug is $10.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like until you buy 10,000 of them,
right?
You can't get them at a good price.
Well, that's when the guys remember. Well, you remember that too, when they were at the supermarket and they were buying the 50-gallon drums, a tap finder, and everybody came by with an empty jug and filled up the empty jugs and bought it that way.
I remember when Kenny Przicki was doing it, KP 725, we called it, back in the 70s. And we used to take cans up there or, have them refilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap doing it that way. But like I said, when I was there at Guardsman, they'd order like 2 semi-trucks full of jugs. They'd bring them.
Wow.
And the whole warehouse is, for a while filled with jugs. And then the same thing with gallon cans. They'd buy them just thousands and the whole basement was stacked with tin cans, quarts and gallons, but they had to buy them in such mass quantity. Otherwise, the can or the jug cost more than the material that went in it.
Yeah, well, he asked me. He mentioned it to me that Mark. He told me he was getting out of the business and he was selling the whole business, like the whole blend and everything of Excalibur fuel, with the ingredients and all the contacts, suppliers, where he's getting the nitro gaster and he's getting the synthetics. Because the synthetic was mostly his main ingredient of the fuel.
Hey, Michael.
Synthetic.
Yes. Michael.
Yes.
We can't get you to shut up.
Yeah, I'm pretty quiet. Most of the time.
He's a sponge. He's just.
I'm enjoying the conversation. It's been a long time since I've been here.
Jump in if you want to add something in, man. Jump in.
I was going to say to him, if I see him have a bag of potato chips, I'm going to accuse him of something of just what he was doing before if he starts getting the munchies. Because he ain't talking.
I just got rid of some popcorn.
Hey, Michael's almost a charter member of the Stunthangar Hangouts. Used to be on every show back a couple of years ago when we first started.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've had so much life stuff going on. It's been crazy.
Where are you located, Michael?
I am in extreme southern Colorado. I'm about 15, what would I say? Probably 15 miles west of I-25, west of Trinidad.
Oh, wow. Okay. I used to live in Colorado for a little while.
So what is your flying altitude?
I live in a little town called Copedale, and it's at 61 or 6,300 feet.
My God.
It's an old town.
You're higher. You're higher.
What, you got to fill your airplane with helium before you launch, or what?
I haven't had any luck getting anything done to try flying here yet. So
I got to tell you a story about helium model airplanes. In 1989, the Nationals was out in Pasco, Washington. And that year I didn't fly, I judged. So I flew out. And I was also at the time, with the magazine. So when the pilots were in the pilots meeting, all the airplanes were being judged for appearance, and I walked in there and I was taking pictures. And these RC guys came in. They were looking around, and the guy walks up to me. He says, "You fly these things, don't you?" Yeah. I said, "Well, normally I do. Yeah, but I'm judging this year." He says, "These things are beautiful." I said, "Yeah, they're truly magnificent." He says, "And they're light too, aren't they?" I said, "Yeah, they have to be because we have a limited hemisphere to fly in. We don't have the whole sky to fly in. They've got to be light." And he said, "Well, if you build them too heavy, can't you just put helium in the wings?" And I laughed. I said, "No." Well, I said, "Well, if you watch the judges here, they're going to kneel down and they're going to suck on the lead out guide. And if they come up and they say, 'You're disqualified,' you know they had helium in the wings." And the two guys looked at me. They turned around and walked away.
Everything I've ever heard about Bill's airplanes, what does he build with to build things as big as they are and light?
Well, Billy doesn't build exceptionally. I mean, he builds exceptionally light, but I think we all build pretty light airplanes for stuff. Billy's big thing is he puts on extremely light finishes. He's just very good at sanding more off than he puts on.
Yeah.
He's very good, and of course he uses Japanese tissue, which doesn't take anything to seal them,
Yeah.
And he's very careful with his airplanes because of that, Yeah. But no, he builds very light airplanes, no doubt.
Well, to put the tissue down, what's the best application? What's the best dope to use to set that down?
Japanese tissue?
Any tissue, I would like a regular white tissue. Next one I use white tissue. What's the best type of dope or something to set it down with?
Well, I think he uses butyrate, if I'm not mistaken. I like nitrate, but either way, what you gotta do is you gotta put dope down first, and then put the material down, and then use like hyper thin dope to go through the material and soften the substrate and attach the stuff from underneath. Because if you don't, it will pucker.
Well, nitrate will harden it quicker. You won't use as much, right? Nitrate's a harder base. You won't use as much.
Yeah, if you thin it out, though, you got to get some working time, and you're going to get it thin enough to go through the material and soften the substrate, the earlier coats, and detach it from the bottom. That's what most people don't do. They put on too thick a dope. It doesn't go through the material, and then it dries on top and it puckers the material.
I have it where I used the butyrate, and butyrate just softened up the next coat underneath and softened up the next one underneath and built up too much.
Well, if you want to soften the coat underneath in any kind of covering, you get it to stick from underneath. You don't want it to be the dope to sit on top. You want it to be, to soften up what's underneath to attach it. Otherwise, you get puckering.
Well, you use less of it, though. I mean, nitrate you use less than you will on butyrate, though, right?
I guess. I mean, it's been so long since I've used either one.
Yeah.
I never had luck with nitrate.
You never had luck with nitrate?
I always get that crazing of the paint will like shrink up. And I watched a Windy video and he was saying
you got to use non-tightening nitrate.
There's something about everything was fine until I went with paint. And once I painted it is when it would all wrinkle up. And everybody said I was thinning my paint too much, that it was mixing, the thinner was then softening everything and mixing nitrate with butyrate, and that was what's doing it.
Yeah.
No, I got a quart of the nitrate, Rodak nitrate. But how much did I thin that out? About 70% then?
Yeah, buy your nitrate, if you want to get it a lot less expensive, get it from Aircraft Spruce and Specialty. Get the Randolph non-tightening. You get a lot.
That's right with Randolph brand, everything Aircraft Spruce.
You get Randolph, you can get certified. They have a couple of different kinds of dope. But when I was using dope, I was using non-tightening nitrate from. You buy a couple of gallons of it. It's a lot cheaper than buying anywhere else, and they don't charge that much for shipping either.
And what? You thin it out about 70%?
Well, it's hard. I don't go by percentages. I go by what is needed to make the stuff do what I want it to do. Because you can get some dopes that are thinner than others right out of the can. So if you say 70% and the dope's already pretty thin, then you're thinning it too much. If it's thick and you say 70%, it might not be enough. So you don't go by percentages. You go by feel. You you find out what works.
Yeah, I just spray it on a test board and see how it runs or doesn't run.
When you're brushing, you got to get it so it's thin enough to brush, you know. So you don't go by percentages, you go by what's required to do the job.
That's what I'm going to go on this time. I'm going to make test pieces and work with test pieces and see how it applicates. Because that's why I kind of got bit up on the last plane. The paint added up too much on me.
If you have some old SIG and you get Randolph, and you take a little cup or something and get some and pour it, SIG seems about twice as thick. I mean, it's a lot thicker in the can than what Randolph's is.
I wouldn't use SIG dope on a vet.
No?
No. And nothing would trouble.
I'll use the Randolph. I'll use the aircraft spruce. I'll go get Randolph.
Yeah, aircraft spruce is
and you get more quantity from him.
Yep.
Because I found out I get a bigger can, I get more quantity from him, or same price or even less than I'm buying Brodak, and it's costing me normal. It's expensive to buy from him.
Yeah.
So that way you don't get enough.
What was that you just showed us, Jamie?
Poor man's dope, Rust-Oleum.
Poor man's dope.
I call poor man's dope the Duplicolor that the acrylic lacquer that I buy at the auto parts store.
That's better than me. I'm a poor dopey man.
Oh, Steve, speaking of that, with spray, with this, we were talking about this automotive stuff. I went and I bought the one that you could just buy in the canvas. It didn't have the that button you're supposed to push in the bottom of it or whatever. It was just a setup, and I got it down here. The
They make two different kinds.
Is that a bi-swab?
Yeah, but hold on, not to get this subject. I got a can. I'm gonna show you. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that stuff didn't work. I got in the can.
Well,
I sprayed that on and I let it harden up. I put the fuel on, ate right through it. But
right.
It didn't have that.
It's not two-part.
Yeah.
They make the 2K Glamour, and then I think they just make Glamour. And what he sold you was touch-up.
Right.
So on a car, if you get a scratch or whatever, you can touch it up and buff it in. But it's not the one they make the other one with the button, and Jamie will show you.
Yeah. This is what you want. You want this model number right here, 3680061.
Yep. Yeah, Spray Max. 3680061. All right.
And that is the same thing that you have in the quart can.
And then this here. And with this
that can, Jamie.
Yeah, you see, look, the top of it, you're gonna have this red thing right here. You take it off, and you see the bottom right there.
Yeah.
Put it on there. After you shake this up a couple of minutes, go 2 to even 5 minutes. Stick it on there, pop it like it's a hymen, shake it up some more, and then that's all she wrote.
Do you warm it first?
Well, I mean, it's already like when you buy it, when you get it, it's already room temperature. This one's been sitting in the refrigerator since I sprayed my twister 2 weeks ago. So I mean, I guess whether you have it in the freezer or the refrigerator, whatever the temp says it needs to be on here. Where is it at? That's where you want to get it at.
They told me to keep this stuff here, keep it at room temperature. If I put anything else, it kind of gums up or whatever, something happens to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically, what you want to do with this stuff as well. But you don't want to keep it room temperature because you're going to kill the shelf life on it because it don't have a long shelf life. In which I watched Monday's, Monday stream. I watched it Tuesday morning whenever I was driving in Corpus, down that long stretch of nowhere. And so I wish I could have just, beamed in there and be like, it's Spray Max, not Max Spray, Steve, But yeah, I mean, freeze it. And whenever, it extends the life and you want to use it again, let it sit out a little while. I think it was Tom Luciano told me he puts it in the oven for at 120 degrees or something for a few minutes till it warms up.
That's pretty hot.
All right, it's something Tom had told me. I mean, don't take me literal to do that, but it's something he had told me, and I think up to 6 months he had.
Let's throw a big disclaimer in here.
Yeah.
That sounds like a huge deal.
You get like Tom Warden. He used to heat up his dope with a double boiler, and they said he had dope all over the ceiling of his kitchen.
See what it is, Jamie, is I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
Really, I am really bad.
Oh, I am too.
I had the 2 words right.
Yeah, he just had it backwards.
Just had it backwards. And I called it K2.
K2, yeah.
But that's a ski.
I'm dyslexic too. That's why I'm dyslexic too. That's why my name is Bob. Either way.
But with this stuff, this is how I do it. This is how I do it. You fog on a coat. Just fog it on. 10 minutes later, go fog on another one. 30 minutes later, put a solid wet coat. In about an hour or so, go play with it.
Hey, Charles.
And the next guys,
where you been?
Been working on my plane.
Been working on your plane?
Yeah, my Vector. I was trying to figure out the vertical CG and had to clear some space in my garage to hang it from the ceiling.
Oh boy.
And trying to get it all set up. So
why don't you do like Tom does and make a Vanessa machine?
Yeah. Well, I was actually working on the vertical CG, not the horizontal.
I tell you what, Jamie, when you build that, that's going to oil soak really bad now.
No, that's why I'm stripping off all the Monaco, because I'm going to put Rust-Oleum on this fuselage. Or maybe I should, get out of my Amish ways and just go electric.
Yeah, there you go. It don't work. I'll tell you, that's one thing we could not make work in electric was a bi-slob.
See, Jamie, it's like that movie, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We're gonna get you sooner or later.
Oh yeah, it's only a matter of time. Hell, I got this R for like $50 from a buddy in Tulsa. In fact, the other intermediate guy, and I always wanted one just to fart around with, just cause. Well, I just happened to look on Brodak today on the way back from Carpus, and these things are like almost $200 now. It's like, really?
Go off plans. It's cheaper.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's an ARF. I mean, no, I'm going to keep the wings red. They're fine. The flaps are straight. It even came with this tank that's already whatever. Yeah, something. And I just don't like that gold. So I mean, instead of using this deep gloss blue like I used on the Twister, I got this lighter one that's more of a PT19 blue, I'm going to call it. And so I'm going to go with that on the fuselage to get this junk called covering that Brodak puts on here.
Bi-slob blue.
Yeah, we couldn't. We put an electric motor on there, and we tried to use a car radio to work the throttle.
Not fast enough.
What it was is that it didn't have a way to put the throttle at like 95% of what you had, and then you'd actually work the throttle, would bring it up to make it climb or drop it, let it sag sound like a Fox 35. If we could have did that, it would have been okay. But how that radio was set up, we couldn't dial program it in. You'd have to have a whole lot more expensive radio.
I'm going to go out of character here. Okay. Bi-slob is the one airplane you really want to have a glow engine on.
Wow. Wait a minute. Yeah. Write that one down.
I know. Need to record that.
I think they just did.
Yeah. For all eternity.
We tried, though. It was a lot of fun messing with it, but we never could get it right.
Yeah. An old beat up, worn out Fox 35 is a way to do that, or a Max 35.
Oh, OS Max 35 would do it too?
Sure.
Oh, I never seen one.
Yeah, that FP1? Yeah.
Before great.
Much more user friendly than a Fox.
And much more horsepower, like 3 times the amount.
Mm. So,
yeah, I couldn't pass a deal on this.
So, Charles, what were you doing with the vertical CG on your plane?
Oh, just verifying if it was top heavy or bottom heavy. And surprisingly, it was top heavy. I was just a little bit. I was surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, there's not.
You got one of those ones with the heavy canopy, did you?
Must be. So, how are you gauging it? How are you hanging it by the lead outs? And
I hang it by lead outs, and then I have a plumb bob in front of it, and I get the plumb bob going down the front of the leading edge, and I see how and I even had the plumb bob in line with the lead out, so I can kind of see how the plane is.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's funny though. You can do that static balancing, and then when you fly, it can be just the opposite. It's funny how that works out, though.
Yeah, I was suspecting that the bottom would be heavy because when I'm flying, sometimes I get a little wing walk, and I'm usually seeing the in a good wind. I mean, I would see the top part of the outboard wing, and so that's why it was windy when I flew today. And I thought, let me check this vertical CG, and so I was kind of surprised that it came out that way.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing after
Put heavier wheels on it.
after our discussion the other night, I know when I do get around to carving the wing tips for my Cardinal, I'm going to set the lead out guide in lower in the wing.
Yeah. I saw one video with Richard Oliver. He actually had adjustable lead out guides that were not necessarily just back and forth, but up and down.
Up and down.
Billy Werwage has this too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has a little cam thing in there that he can lower them or raise them or anything.
Is that in the USA 1 or what was that in?
No, it was in the later airplanes.
Yeah.
Remember, there was somebody had the lead outs on top of each other, and they could adjust them.
Yeah, over and unders. Yeah. Bob Palmer, I think, used to do that.
Speaking of using a plumb bob, like Charles said he was using, is when I donated the tools and supplies to the Triple Tree Education Center back in August. I had a old tackle box I was cleaning out and putting tools in, and there was a big 4-ounce fishing sinker, a pyramid surf sinker in it, and so I put about 8 feet of cord on it and wrapped it up and put it in there. I figured that'd make a good plumb bob.
Yeah.
Only tip, and wonder if anybody will know what it is or what it's for.
Yeah.
Now, if you take one of them and coat it, have it gold plated, does that become a plumb Robert?
Or a plumb Robin.
It's getting late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all done hit a nerve.
Guys.
Yeah, somebody hit a nerve. Yeah, it's true. Hey, congratulations, Jamie, on your victory. It's awesome.
Thank you. You want to know what's funny? I mean, I know he wasn't being like serious, or maybe he was. Me and the guy that I flew intermediate with, he's the one I beat in El Dorado last November. Whenever I crashed my Ringmaster and I came back and won. He won in Dallas, but I'm gonna go on record here and just say because I had an overrun because I missed out on points and he only won by 6. But he still flew. He still flew, and he got them points and won. Legitly won. And so I beat him in PA Sunday. And so we're looking at the scores. I'm like, man, if the weather would have been much better, our scores would have been like, neck and neck probably. He's like, that's okay. I'm gonna beat your ass in Zachary. And I just smiled. He didn't say nothing. He had like no emotion, like his soul left or something. Like the Exorcist touched him where he shouldn't have touched him, and he was like just all out, ready to go to war and shit.
Welcome to competition.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, it can beat my ass. I'm gonna tear you a new one. Let's go. That's right. That's right.
Bro, you don't want to mess with them Amish.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, I got a rival.
It's an ongoing joke, Charles. This Amish thing has been going on all night.
Yeah,
I've been listening to the show. You guys have been cracking up.
We probably ought to limit religious references, but I think we're okay with the Amish thing. It's obviously a good thing.
I don't think they watch
He's gonna kick his ass wearing the hat next
I got
time.
an air-powered television, So.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy about it? He's the one that gave me the deal on the bicycle.
Wow.
He's a good guy. We hung out all weekend long. It was him, a bunch of us, and just all around nice guy. I can't complain. And I'm very competitive when it comes to a lot of things. And for some odd reason, I can't tell you why, but my competitiveness overrides fun. You know, and so when I'm out there in a circle and I mess up on my vertical 8, I'm ready, you know, to kick a puppy. I'm so pissed off, but I'm like, just holding a straight face. Right? Next lap, okay, let's go hourglass. Oh, that was shitty, but who cares? Let's go again, you know, let's go overhead. You know,
the competition is the fun.
I got a friend that's been 6 points behind me for the past 3 or 4 years, and I think it kind of irks him up too, but we still at it. But he's free to practice a lot now. I'm cutting him.
I'll tell you who's the ultimate competitor. The ultimate competitor is Bill Werwage. Bill Werwage, we came home from VSC. Even after he won, he was mad because he didn't win by enough.
Oh my!
Wow.
You see, that would be me. That would probably be me.
Well, wait, Bob. Jimmy Cassell was another one that was very anal about 1 point.
Yeah. Jimmy was a beginner as a competitor compared to Werwage, though.
I won the contest where
he went right up to. What did he do? Why did I lose by 1 point? How did you figure out 1 point that I lost? He got on your case about it.
I won a contest where I made the worst scores I have ever made at any time in front of judges, but that was Dale and Derek Barry judging me, and I think they just score lower because everybody, of course, was scoring lower. Like we said earlier, it doesn't matter as long as they're consistent, but I'm looking at those scores and thinking, damn, you know, I can't imagine winning with a score like that, but I did.
But even like expert in PA, first and third was by 1.5 points. And like I think it was like
the 600s.
Yeah, 615 and a half, 615, and then 614 and a half, or something like that. It was out there. I mean, and the lowest score was like
you look at your score sheet, it's 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 39. Hey, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, where the hell did that half a point come from? You know. I mean, it was crazy. I wanted to film all the expert PA, but they had us going on 3 circles at once. Expert had their own, advanced had their own, then intermediate, and all of us beginner. And then, I say all of us, all the beginners, which was 2 guys a beginner, and then a bunch of junior beginner kids and whatnot. And so, I mean, I only got to record halfway through the first and then all of the second round. So, I mean, and that was just of my flight, because I try to get my flight and then, you know, do everybody else. But I didn't really get much video. But I tell you what, though, I got a video of a girl flying a Brodak ARF Ringmaster with no landing gear doing like 2-second laps.
Wow. That's bad.
Her and her dad flies combat. This girl's like 11, 12 years old.
Huh?
And so I'm talking with D Hill, and he's the judge. I'm like, man, her Ringmaster ain't got no landing gear. He said, oh, I know. She flies combat. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, she's flying, you know, beginner. All right, man, that's cool, whatever. And then another guy was like, oh, she's good enough to fly intermediate. Okay. And then he's like, oh, she's only doing level laps and whatnot. I'm like, well, why is this guy telling me she can fly intermediate? And why are you telling me she's only flying level laps? Somebody make up their mind.
Well, he probably seen you fly, so he figured that she could fly intermediate.
I guess. I don't know. I guess. Because I tell you what.
Score one.
I'll tell you what, a year and a half ago, I would not have flown a Ringmaster as fast as she was flying this thing. Because when they finally got that thing going, it was just wing over, wing over. And it was wild to see this little girl. I mean, just like it's nothing. Like a year and a half ago, oh no, you want to fly? No, thank you. I don't know. I ain't touching that plane. She was whipping that thing around. They had a couple of kids with some busters. They're all family. 3 brothers. The older one, I think, was flying a shoestring hunter, stunter, and 2 busters. I mean, that was pretty cool. See them little kids flying the things.
That would be Sam Leinke could probably fly a pattern at combat speeds pretty soon.
Oh yeah, which I mean, all she did her level laps, and then, you know, she would do like half a wing over.
Yeah.
And her dad flew a expert. He was flying a Strega. I don't know if this dude didn't have like almost 70-foot lines on his thing, long. And she was in the circle with him, calling out orders and maneuvers.
Huh.
you could tell he's a combat guy because every time he would go in an overhead loop, he'd bring his hand up, and there's the plane going, and he'd hurp and jerk his hand down, and the plane's not even overhead at the top of the loop yet, and his hand's already at the bottom, whipping it up for the next one. He was all over the place doing it, but he was doing them, It was just wild. People's style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being competition, having somebody to fly against is really nice. When I was shooting, my buddy that I shot with all the time, and we stayed together and went all over different states and everything like that. We'd help each other, but once we got to the contest, it was all out war to see who would win.
Game on. Like I said, I mean, we hung out all weekend and whatnot, and I mean, it's all friendly competition,
Yeah.
But
that's what actually I think made me better shooting, was always competing against him.
Yeah.
To try to, and he was always trying to beat me, and we ended up getting better and better. And we always had a winter league, and I never beat him one time in the winter league. Me and him always took first and second, but it was just because we were competing against each other. And if I shot a good score, by God, he'd go out there, shoot as good or a little bit better. And it's like he always beat me by 1 or 2 birds over the whole 3-month deal. We'd be that close, but it was just us two competing together. But when I used to shoot big shoots over by him, I stayed with him and his wife, and we were really, super close friends. But yeah, when we shot against each other, though, we both tried to win. There was no.
Well, isn't that the idea of competition?
Yeah, and it makes you better. It's like you and Billy flying.
Yeah, I remember going out to Billy, why don't you win this one today? Yeah, sure.
What a nice guy.
Wasn't Billy at the World Championships when you won?
No.
Oh, he wasn't that year?
He didn't make the team that year. The team was Beesky was first on the team. He was first place man, and from the team selections, Raby was second, I was third, and then we reversed that order at the Worlds.
Right. But see, that's what I'm saying is that
Billy ended up in 5th that year at the team selection.
Billy, won a lot, but there's actually times you beat him.
Well, yeah. I got to admit, there was more times that he beat me than I beat him, but
right. But
I don't remember those. I just remember the times I beat him.
But you had to really work hard to beat him, and it probably helped him having to work hard. So try not to let you beat him. Yeah,
but you know what? I mean, there were times, a number of times, and he was a better technician than I was at setting up engines and things. And I remember we went to the '92 Worlds, and I had a Uniflow tank that really was a plunk tank that was hitting hard. When I pulled the nose up, it would hit hard, and then would shut off coming down. Just wasn't working very well. And he said, "Look, we're going to fix this." And he took it all apart and replumbed it, and it worked perfectly. And then I beat him. But you know what? He would have done that even if he knew I was going to beat him.
Yeah.
But that's how competitors are.
Yeah, that's what I love about this sport.
Yeah.
We'll all help each other.
Yeah. Plus, I'd like to beat somebody at their best. I wouldn't want to beat somebody when they're
absolutely. That's the whole idea. Yeah.
I want everybody to bring their A game so I can know that I'm truly am better than they are.
Exactly. That's why I've never held secrets. There were a lot of people, in this event in the past have kept secrets about what they were doing. I don't believe in that. If somebody's out there that could beat me, I don't want to beat them because I out technologied them or had some information that they didn't have. I want to beat them because I'm a better pilot. So you give them all the information, let them, if they want to use it, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. But at least they're armed with all the information. And if they beat you, hey, tip your hat,
Exactly.
You can give them the information; they still have to be able to apply it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You can give everybody all the information, not even willing to do it.
Yep.
You still have to be able to apply. You have to be able to acknowledge what you're doing and do the fundamentals and construct it that way.
You could tell 100 people the same thing. You could tell them, you know, all the information that you tell the other 99 people. And only a handful of them, if not only one, will take that information and apply it and go someplace with it. So they're the ones to do, you know, they've done the right thing. You know, the people who want the information. I hate it when people call up and they ask for advice and they say, well, okay, what do I do? They ask a specific question. And I give them an answer and they'll say, well, so-and-so says to do it this way.
They call so-and-so, right?
Why are you calling me? If you're going to listen to him anyway, go do that.
Waste your time. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then whatever information they got is dead wrong anyway. I mean, you could generally, it's like you say, "Phew, boy, that's going to really work," you know. So, but the important thing is somebody calls you up and you have the information. The way I look at it, none of this belongs to us anyway. It all belongs to God. So you just pass it on.
Have fun with it.
Yep, pass it on.
To thrill the competition.
Three cheers for generosity.
But, you know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, we're talking to Bob so much that it's not really the best plane. You know, what's best for you isn't always best for someone else. Your reflexes may not be as fast or whatever, you know.
Right.
You know, how you train.
So many different ways to do this. I mean, there's so many different good setups and you know, glow and electric and built-up wings and foam wings and tricycle wing here and, you know, fast controls and slow controls. I mean, like, you're right. It's got to be like my son. I can't fly my son's airplanes. He balances his airplane someplace about mid-tail wheel. And those things are so sensitive, I can't fly them. And to him, he could lock it in like it's a freight train. It's just so dead on. Different people have different, you know, nervous systems.
Yeah.
I had that when we had our contest last year, and Jose Modesta came out here to Vegas, and he flew my airplane. I let him fly it. And the way I fly and the way I had it, he retrimmed the whole airplane and even had retrimmed neutral on the way I hold neutral and the way he does. And the way he also controls it. He retrimmed the whole airplane for himself.
Yeah. You know, Jose is very knowledgeable. He's a good pilot, too. If he had gotten really serious at it and stayed at it, he could have been, you know, serious good flyer.
He says, I'm coming out here for vacation. I'm with the wife. We're coming out here for vacation and so forth. I hear you're having a contest. Can I fly it? And I said, yeah. He says, I need an airplane. I says, okay, no problem. I brought an airplane. And I said, here, fly it. He flew about 5-6 flights, practice flights, and every flight did something different to it.
Yep.
And then after he got done, he said to me to fly. It was a totally different airplane.
Yeah.
I bet it was more responsive, too.
Yes. Yeah, it was. It was more responsive.
He and I fly virtually the same setup, and we both fly very responsive airplanes.
It was more responsive and more controllable, more smoother. The tracking was more smoother.
Yep, he's good. He's a good trimmer.
Yeah,
he grew up on that East Coast thing with Gene Schaefer and Lampione and all of us out there and Bill Simons in particular, who was a habitual trimmer. I mean, Bill would trim and trim. He'd trim an airplane until it fell apart.
Yeah. Oh, I got from Peabody. He got it from Jose, and I had an SV-22 and an SV-11, and I was using those. They were beater planes, and I was practicing with those. I flew those until the wings folded on them, and they were trimmed out really nice. They were really, really good trimmed out airplanes. And I was actually the week before that contest, I was actually trimming out. I still had his SV-11, and it was his plane. And I was trimming it out again and flying it and getting it ready for the contest. And if you look on, I have it on YouTube, McBride 001, you'll see the wings fold in midair.
Wow. I got to check that out.
Pretty well. I laughed about it. I thought it was pretty good. I told Jose, can't you build an airplane that's going to stay together when I fly it?
You know, Jose came to a Nationals, and you know, I love him like a brother, you know, but I almost beat him up that day because he came to the Nationals with an airplane where the hinges were not even glued into the flaps of the trailing edge yet. And he took the airplane to appearance point judging with the hinges just stuck in dry.
Right, right.
And it's like, and they almost qualified. He went back to the motel and glued everything together and waited a day and they went and flew the airplane. he almost qualified. He's very talented, but he really needs to be more prepared.
I remember when he was making those pattern masters, so he was making them composite.
Yeah.
Really talented person.
He is. He really, really is. And he's about as nice a guy as you ever want to meet in your life.
Yeah.
Helpful.
He spent all the time on the road out here, and he came out here and he tried working out, like, take tip weight down, take this out, let's move this, change this. The plane flew totally different after when he gave it back to me.
He comes over here all the time and hangs out, and we just have a great time. He had a shark, a Senko shark set up for Orestes, and it was electric shark, and he just lent it to me. He said, "Here, keep it for a couple of weeks and see if you like it." You know, it was kind of cool.
Yeah. So did you like it?
Yes and no. I mean, it was a very good flying airplane, but well trimmed. But I think it was limited. It would only do what it would do. It was limited in how far it could go. But it was good for what it was. Yeah, it turned, it locked, it tracked. But I think a lighter, different design airplane. I've had airplanes that flew better than that. You know, it wasn't a bad airplane. I don't think it's worth $4,000. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
That was good.
So you're flying that Vector 40 pretty good now, Charles?
Yeah, pretty good. Actually, I decided I'm going to compete with that at the Golden State instead of the Strega. Yeah, so I wasn't sure at first, but I didn't tell you what happened. I fly by myself a lot, and my plane came out of the stooge. For some reason, it got hung up, and it got turned around toward the circle, into the circle. Plane started coming toward me, and I'm running. Plane goes across the circle, and bang, it hit the lines finally got tight, and it was just like a really strong bang. Then it was so strong that it hit that it turned the plane around, went back to the other side of the circle.
I would have paid money to see that.
And then bang again. And I finally got to go around. And I was going, you know what? I said, I think God wants me to fly this plane.
Yeah.
I mean, any other plane would have broke the lines or would have crashed. And I was just like,
I would have paid money to see you running around the circle. That's what I was.
But it really, so I knew that plane could handle a pull test. And
God just wanted a good laugh. He probably goes, hey, watch this old guy trying to run.
Charles, you better laugh at my jokes. I laugh when you fly. So.
That's so funny.
Dang
Golden. Yeah, so
having to do that, Charles.
We got to get back to a trimming thing. We got to.
I know. I haven't gotten a good video. I have no new video to show you.
Going to do our coaching thing again. Has that been helping at all?
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited about it. Even yesterday or day before, I was thinking about the four-leaf clover being, a box and with a cross.
Yeah, four-leaf clover is a square maneuver, not a round maneuver. Everybody thinks it's a round maneuver. It's really a square maneuver.
Yeah. And
now, speaking of four-leaf clovers, the only one I need a little help on trimming my new airplane with. The rest of the pattern I'm really comfortable with on the trimming. But I'm having an issue where I'm going circle 1, coming across, circle 2, and I'm coming back up. I'm losing tension coming vertically up to circle 3. What can I do in adjusting that? Am I too long on the lines, or am I
have to fly the airplane.
Wow.
I shorten the lines down when I fly that, because I'm 65s. I'm going to go down a little. 65 islet to islet. I'm going to go down 64, 60, maybe 64 and a half, shorten the line to it. Everything else seems to have tension and it goes through. I'm just having a little lightness getting up into circle 3.
Circle 3. So 1.
I was watching some of the clovers in my early videos the other day, and yeah, I was just sitting there putting them all right on top of each other, and I flew everything else pretty good, but I compacted the clover into one little space out there. So yeah, I finally
You got to look at that maneuver.
Fly.
You got to look at that maneuver as if it's a square maneuver.
Yeah. Now, when I come around, in my mind, I say fly, 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 and then
Right.
It's lock, 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 lock. That's what it is. It's locking on these flats. You know, you do the rounds and then you lock, and that's what makes it essentially a square maneuver.
a lot of people will lock on the horizontal leg. They'll go lock, lock, and then it's like to say to the judges, look, I've got an intersection or something.
Yeah, I have kind of a bad habit of doing that, but I'm working on it, trying to get these two quarters to get each other.
Yeah, mine was.
I used to have a friend that used to lose a lot of airplanes flying long stem four-leaf clovers.
Yeah.
Long stem, huh?
Yeah,
I've lost an air.
About you losing your tension on the going. Where's it losing it? Halfway up, almost to the top.
Yeah, almost to the top. I'm going circle. I'm doing one. I'm coming across. I count 1, 2, 3. I bring it down, and I come back up vertically to go to the 3. I'll pass up the loop. I'm more than halfway up. I'm going up to almost 3/4 of the way up. So I'm getting ready to start turning again, and that's where I'm losing tension. Where it's starting to slack up on me.
Got it. Almost should be like.
I want to get to the top. Move where I want to get to the start turning for the top of that loop.
Well, it should be easier than a wing over.
Yeah.
That's really
you're actually coming down and gaining speed.
Here's a little quiz for everybody. A little quiz. Where does the four-leaf clover end?
Top of the sky.
Right overhead.
Right over the top of the head.
Nope.
It's in the middle of it, isn't it?
Ends at 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Read your rule books.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
No, but I'll tell you this, and I told somebody,
you better go over and finish it because
you better finish that damn thing over your head, and when you bring it out at the bottom, it better come out almost like a wing over. You'll get a bad score every time.
Yeah, but the judges shouldn't do that. They should take
They
the right.
should. That's what Samantha said.
They shouldn't, but you gotta.
Because once I get through 45, it doesn't matter what I do. I said, that's the rule, but that isn't the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
That's not how they bias it.
I just wanted to ask everybody if they knew where it actually technically ended.
Yeah, that's how we all fail.
45 on the other side of the circle?
No, you do your first outside, you do your second, you do your first outside, your second outside, your second outside, and when you're coming up, it is at 45 degrees. That's the end of the maneuver.
End of the climb. 45 degrees climbing out. Yeah.
45. That's the end of the maneuver.
Wow.
Yeah, because Samantha had, the bad habit of when she went past the 45, she'd just come up a little bit and flop it over and fly it around.
Wow.
Everybody's like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "The maneuvers."
Well, there is a thing called exit path. And you're supposed, even though the maneuver may end someplace, you're supposed to have the correct exit path, which is over the top of the circle and pull out.
Okay.
So they always told me to keep make sure you
Path is not
go to the top of your head.
after the.
And same thing with the overhead ace. It ends at the center of the intersection, straight overhead.
Right.
And they'll pinch on them too if they exit path ain't out. But Samantha said they shouldn't even be looking at that. They should be writing down the score.
She's right, but they always do.
Yeah.
Watch it. I actually watch it come down and finish out and level out.
Well, that's probably what killed me on my overheads and my clovers, because whenever I finish out, I'm standing there and showing off my fat boy flexibility where I'm facing this way, judges or wherever they at, and I'm back here stretched around, coming over, and I never fully rotate. I just
Charles's exit path on his takeoff recently has been like to turn and run like crazy. That's his exit path.
That like Snagglepuss exit stage left.
You guys don't appreciate what happened to me years ago. I was flying. Dave Sabon was giving me his twin Pathfinder, but I didn't have two LA-25s. So I said, "Let me fly your plane before you take the motors off." So another gentleman releases the plane. The plane came in on me, and I take off running to try to catch the lines. Well, make a long story short, I broke my back.
Wow.
So when this plane started coming in on me, I was a little bit excited because, I've been here before, you know. Last time this happened to me, I broke my back trying to save the plane.
Wow.
So,
and a twin can do a whole lot more damage to you than a single-engine airplane can.
Yes. But, when I find the Pathfinder, I hadn't really internalized that this was my plane. So, like anybody else's plane, you'll probably sacrifice your body. You don't want to crash someone else's plane. So I ran as fast as I could facing the Pathfinder. And I could only sustain that speed for so long as my torso started leaning back. And then I started flying inverted. And I told Dave Sabon I should have got 40 points for my inverted flight. And he goes, no, you hit the ground. So you just get 10 points for an attempt.
Yeah, that's where you and I differ. For somebody else's airplane, I figure it's not my airplane. What do I care?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's what I did to Whiteley 1 year.
What's that?
That's what I did to Bob Whiteley 1 year when he flew, when it was like 20-mile-an-hour winds and he flew. He said, yeah, you got to fly it like you stole it. And I said, okay. And it was too windy and everybody passed up flying. So it was my turn to go up and fly. I picked up his airplane. I walked away with it. And he said, where you going with my airplane? I said, I'm going to steal it. I got to go fly. Put my airplane down.
Fly it like you stole it.
Whiteley's a good one to mess with. Bob Whiteley.
Right. Whiteley, you talk about a competitor. There is the ultimate competitor.
He is a fun guy. He's a fun guy. You get him grumpy and get him rowling.
He's a good friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I asked him one day to help me with, I was talking to him about trying to get some information about building an I-beam wing. I wanted to build a USA 1. I was thinking of building one of those and building an I-beam wing. I'm telling you, he scared the daylights out of me that day when he was talking to me about it. He's talking me through how to build this I-beam wing, and we're sitting there, we're listening to him, Then he says, hold on a second. Wait a minute, I'm wrong. He put his arm on his chair like this, and he closed his eyes, and he was quiet. And he was like that for about 20 minutes, and I felt like it was that Chevy Chase movie from Vacation when the guy dropped dead and then woke up and said, I won the money. Well, he was like that. He was like 20 minutes silent.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm looking at him, I'm poking him, like, are you okay? And all of a sudden he woke up and he's like, all right, I got it now. And then he started telling me the rest of how to build this wing. He scared the daylights out of me. I was like, don't tell me you dropped dead. Tell me how to build an I-beam wing or something.
He is.
He's a character.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing him at Golden State. That's one of the guys I look forward to seeing is Bob Whiteley.
Well, say hello to him for me. I haven't seen him in a while. He's good.
I will.
Why don't you come out here to Vegas, Bob?
Because I got a dog and I can't, I won't put her in a kennel, so.
We're having a contest in November.
What's that?
We're having a contest in November.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not ready.
Yeah, you can start walking her. You can reach there.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't walk her. She walks me.
Support on that.
Well, since I'm Amish, I could, loan you a ride in my little, horse and buggy. But
There you go.
I got no room. Sorry.
Yeah, I would do that, Bob. I heard that.
Dog could pull that wagon. He's a pistol.
Yeah, November 10th and the 11th. We have our contest out
I
here.
haven't even got an airplane flying right now. I'm waiting for my Igor system, and he's got that whole new system being, programmed by the Jetty spin thing, and his new timer. It's all new stuff. It's all the latest updates, and I'm waiting for that before I fly the Crossfire. I bought my Crossfire back again from the guy I sold it to, and I'll use that for practice until I get my new airplane done.
So now it'll be the Crossfire Plus.
Well, the new one's called Easy Wind. It's after a Grateful Dead song.
Oh, you can fly my airplane.
I'm sure I would know the song, but I can't place the name.
Off Working Man's Dead.
Okay, I got that one. Yeah. I'd recognize it if I heard it.
Well, I'm trying to do the wind motif, because I had the second.
Well, yeah, my son took us to a Grateful Dead concert in Atlanta back in September, and I hadn't seen them since 1977 in Atlanta, and man, they were just as good. It's called Dead and Friends or something like that now. Man, it was just as good or better than that concert.
Without Jerry, it's not the same, you know. You know.
Didn't he have a heart transplant?
Who?
Jerry
Garcia.
He had a scuba diving accident. I think he got the bends or something, and he was in a coma, and he was never the same again.
Yeah. He's my, or let's see, my cousin is, and her husband are Jerry's child's godparents.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He was something.
Mm-hmm.
A really lyrical guitar player. He could dance over this. He had his own style.
Yeah, you can pick him out of the background of any music that he's playing in and know that that's Jerry Garcia.
I saw him at Giant Stadium in '84 or '85 with Los Lobos opening for him. He was phenomenal. You know, Grateful Dead concerts are interesting. They can be either really, really bad or really, really good. There's no in between, you know. So I saw him on a good night.
And when I saw him in Atlanta back in college, I think they spent more time jamming than they did actually playing songs.
Yeah, they do those space jams, you know. Great musicians. So anyway, they you know, I had the second wind, and that was a triple meaning for that name, the twin. The second wind, I'd been out of the stunt for a couple of years at that time, so I was coming back. So it was like my second wind coming back. Yeah. And then I got twin motors, and so, you know, two winds, you know.
I think Sparky called it passing wind one night.
You know, Billy always makes fun of my names on my airplane. But the other reason was my brother invited me down to, after Katrina went through down on the coast, he invited me with the North Carolina Baptist Men's Association. They committed to rebuilding 500 houses, and they did all the work and supplied all the materials for free. So I went down there for a week, and the name of that project was Second Wind. So there were three reasons for Second Wind. So I figured I'd continue the wind motif and do Easy Wind. And then Billy said, "Why don't you do someone called Breaking Wind?" You know, so be crashing, it's Breaking Wind. That's what we said.
Now, does your brother fly, Bob?
No, he used to years ago. He was at the 53 Nationals with my dad and flew combat with an airplane called the Flying Erector Set. He had a wing, and he made the fuselage out of an erector set, and it was a Flying Erector Set.
Oh, okay.
And then soon after that, they outlawed that kind of thing, you know.
So he never got into flying as much as you did.
No, he got into fishing and motorcycling. He was a member of the Husqvarna team. He was a team rider for Husky. He was a national amateur enduro champ.
Oh, okay.
He was a really good motorcyclist. He still is. He's almost 80, and he's still a really good motorcyclist.
Guys, I'm going to call it a night.
Hard on the body.
What's that?
That kind of riding is hard on a body.
Yeah, well, he doesn't do that anymore. He has a gold wing he rides.
I'm going to call it a night, but y'all are welcome to hang on and chat.
Yeah, it's almost one. I'm tired. I worked all day, so.
Don't forget,
3 hours. Hopefully, I'll be back more consistently. So hopefully, we'll see you guys Monday.
Yeah, I mean, next time, Michael, if you let us get a word in edgewise, you know.
Yeah, we don't know if we can stand you talking so much.
Good to listen to you guys.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Okay, folks. Thanks for dropping in, and you YouTube people out there, thank you so much for your contributions, both in the text and in the super chat. So tight lines, fair. Let's see, it's fair winds, tight lines, and we'll see you Monday. Good night.
Good night, Rusty.
Bring back.